doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching ABL Live. You could be anywhere in the whole wide world, but you're right here with me, and I definitely appreciate you for that. We got quite a few topics on deck for tonight. There's a whole lot going on. I just came back from the Blacks for Trump event well, probably not Blacks for Trump. That's a whole different group. They were good guys. They were there as well, Blacks for Trump. I just came from the Black Voices for Trump. I'm pretty sure that's a legal thing. You'll want to say Blacks for Trump, and then, So anyway, Black Voices for Trump in Atlanta, Georgia. It was a great event. We had 400 people in the room, and it was jam-packed, standing room only. We were at capacity and a little bit beyond, quite frankly, and a lot of people that showed up could not get in because we were beyond capacity. It was a great event. I'll talk more about that as we continue on through the stream. Also, this whole whistleblower kerfuffle. If you say this guy's name, it's like the kiss of death. You can't say his name at all. YouTube sending the email talking about, your video's been privated. Please give some more context. Review the community guidelines. Where in the community guidelines does it say that you cannot reveal the whistleblower's name that has already been revealed? Okay. The whole email was just a bunch of BS. There was an actual reason why the video was put on private that they told the media, but they didn't bother telling us for whatever the reason may be. Ben Shapiro had a pretty interesting speech. I think that might have been somewhere, some Ivy League. I'm not quite sure where he was. We'll talk about all those topics and much more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And again, I thank y'all for joining me. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me. I definitely appreciate you for that. It's a whole lot going on, and thank you all for joining. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you like the content in general, if you like the channel, please give the video a thumbs up and also share it. And if you are not subscribed for whatever the reason may be, I don't know what's going on, but go ahead and subscribe right now and click that bell right beside it. Once you click that bell, you get notified whenever I go live or post a new video. So please click that bell right beside the subscribe button. Stanford, that's where the speech was. Thank you for that, LF Third. I appreciate you. And thank you all for joining, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. And of course, for being here right now, tonight, and watching the show. And shout out to LSU for winning the game. Sorry to the Bama fans. Things happen. Two great teams. Meeting of the Titans. And, somebody's got to win. So shout out to LSU. Somebody's got to win the game. It is what it is. 46-41 LSU. I got to go to one of these games one day. One of these big college games. Because the energy, it's like second to none. So the energy for a game like this, in my opinion, is bigger than most NFL games. So, yeah, I definitely got to make it to one of these games someday. I'm down here in the South anyway, so it wouldn't even be a far away drive or even a plane ride if I decided to do that. It wouldn't even be that far. But we'll get into all that. Okay, is my stream messing up, or is it just me? It might just be me. Hold on, because I'm seeing it start over a lot. Hopefully it's just me and my connection that I'm seeing over here. If the stream is messing up, let me know and I'll try to fix it. Let me see. Thank y'all for joining. John B says hello from Waukegan, Illinois. I'm gonna pause for a moment and before I get into the topics, just to make sure that my stream is right. If I can show you guys this, it looks kind of crazy. It's like the feed I'm seeing is not loading properly. It's weird. I think it's just YouTube acting up. So everything looks okay? Okay, good money. Good money. It's just YouTube on the back end messing up. That's fine. All right. It's just me? Okay. Good money. Good to go. Okay, let's keep going. Now, the Black Voices for Trump event was great. It was fantastic. Now, the purpose of Black Voices for Trump is to reach out to Black communities and try to get as much of that Black vote as possible to come over to the right. It's as simple as that. Now, some would say, aren't you playing identity politics? No, not at all. If a certain community of people are voting one particular way, like 90-something%, and they're getting zero in return, Shouldn't somebody say, hey, you know what? Maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe somebody should go to that community and say, hey, how about you guys do something a little bit different? Wouldn't it help you? Wouldn't it help your children, your families, your overall, your mom, your dad, your grandma? Wouldn't it make sense for you to go out there and do that to help them? It's called community outreach. When I was on the left, one thing that I always kept hearing as far as why people wouldn't vote another way, they would say, well, they don't reach out to us. Nobody, they don't even try to get our vote. So, I mean, people want to have us reach out, so we're going to reach out. It's not even a question of, are we going to do it? Why are we? Nah, we're going to reach out. And it just kind of makes logical sense to me, in my humble opinion. Maybe that's just me thinking, but it just makes sense to reach out to people that want to be reached out to. So that's what we're going to do with Black Voices for Trump. I'm going to get some of the hats. I'm going to try to sell the hats on my store if they'll allow me. I'm pretty sure they will. I know most people on the board, so I'll talk to them and say, hey, what are we going to do with the merch? Can I put some on my store and sell it? I'm pretty sure they let me do it, because the whole point is to get the message out there to the Black community. One thing about a lot of Black folks is that we're kind of isolated from general society. You go to one part of town, it's like night and day from another part of town. The language is different. I mean, everything is different. We just kind of are in little isolated bubbles, and we are sometimes afraid to come out. Now, my goal, my dream is to get everybody on the same accord in America. We don't got to all be the same as far as a personality, but I want everybody to be on the same page as far as being Americans and wanting the best for the country, regardless of how you approach it. You understand what I'm saying? Your individual personality, I want you to keep intact, because America is all about the individuality. But as a collective, we can be individuals, but work as a collective to have the country go forward. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I want to do, is to bring the message of the American dream, individuality, what it really means to be an American to the Black community. That's what we're going to do with Black Voices for Trump. It was a great event. I heard there was protesters outside. I heard about the protesters after I left. Like, I came with a group from here in Tennessee. We were on the bus. It was a few of us on the bus. And when we get ready to go back on the bus, we saw a TV in the convention center, and it had protesters on the TV. I'm like, we did not see any protesters. I mean, when we got to the venue, we did not see any protesters at all. And when we left, we didn't see any. Like I said on my social media post, might have been on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, it's like they came late and left early, like typical underachievers in life. Underperformers life. That's probably the word I use. So it was like the protesters didn't do anything. They're outside blowing their whistles, getting triggered. And the funny part about the protesters was that it was mostly white liberals. So it's really kind of confusing. But you know what? It was kind of good. And I'll explain. It's confusing because people always say it's the right that are racist. It's white people on the right that are racist. Okay. But when you have a Black Voices for Trump event, when 95% of people in the actual place are Black, outside, 85% of those that are protesting them are white. So imagine if it were the other way around. Imagine if it were a Blacks for Obama event, and then outside you had a bunch of white folks that were protesting them. It'd be called racist. They would say alt-right, neo-Nazi, KKK. But since it's not Black liberals, it's Black conservatives inside listening to our president, the white folks outside that are protesting aren't called these names. It's interesting how that works. But it's good because people are starting to see the hypocrisy. They're just putting two and two together and saying, hey, wait a minute. We're inside. We're all Black folks. We support the president. We want the best for ourselves and for our families. But outside, a bunch of white folks are protesting, and these are the same ones that tell me that the white folks on the right are racist. Yet, when you're inside the building, outside the building, you get embraced by many white folks who are on the right with you. You realize that it's less about race and it's more about just how you identify politically. That's the main thing. So all this racial barriers that many of us keep up that are kind of artificial begin to wear away. And that is what I want to have happen, not to lose your individuality, but to not be so bound to these racial barriers, be more bound to each other as Americans rather than through the lens of race. That's kind of what I want to get across. Be yourself, be an individual, but be able to live amongst each other and have the tie that binds be your political ideology, your religion, things like that actually matter, things that really, connect people, things you have in common rather than just skin color, because it's only skin deep. So, but yeah, it was a great event. Oh, I still got my badge, of course. I'm gonna keep these. So this is the badge that I have. Black Voices for Trump kickoff 2020, of course, because the whole purpose is to get Trump back in office. And it says, with Donald J. Trump, the president of the USA, Atlanta. So I'm definitely keeping this 100%. But it was great. It was really good. A lot of people were there. You had Alveda King, MLK's niece, if I'm not mistaken. She sung the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice, then National Anthem, Pledge of Allegiance. It was a prayer. Very good. I almost had an Indian tear just drop out of my eye. That was a good part. And then what else? We had quite a few speakers. Ben Carson was there. He spoke. Mike Pence was there. He spoke. Of course, Trump spoke. And Trump brought people on stage, black folks now, that had been benefited by the current, economic policies, the opportunity zones and things like that. It was a couple on stage. They were talking about their business, how they've been able to grow right there in Atlanta. And shout out to my man that came from Selma, Alabama. He had a great story. He was talking about how he has this business. He's doing fantastic in the business due to the policy that's been enacted by Donald Trump. He said that one of his employees is the grandson of one of the firefighters, or pardon me, the police officers that had the hoses on them in 1964. Okay, so it came full circle. You go from, putting the hoses on black folks to now your grandson works for a black man. See how far we've gotten. But a lot of the people on the left would act like that story doesn't exist, like we're still back in the 60s and all this racial strife going on. You do have some racial strife, but I think a lot of that is manufactured by the media, and it's nowhere near the way it was back prior to 1960 or during civil rights. So it was a really good event, a lot of good testimony, a lot of good speakers. Of course, a lot of great people I met there. If I met you there, hey, thank you for coming, and I appreciate you for supporting me and everyone else that was there. I had a great time. Who was there as far as like big name people? Diamond and Silk, of course. Terrence Williams, David Harris Jr., Will Johnson, my man Patrick Hampton, who was with me here in Tennessee. Who else? Herman Cain. I met Herman Cain. A lot of people. I don't want to miss anybody. Deneen Borelli. Carol Swain from Nashville, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of people were here. It was so many, I can't even really name everybody, but it was a great event. And we're going to do more things like this. This is only the kickoff. We just had the launch event. We're going to do a lot more things like this. So Black Voices for Trump, we're going to be here. Oh, I met the guy that runs the Blacks for Trump, who was at all of the rallies, who has a Blacks for Trump, like the black and white sign. I met him. He was great. Hodge twins are on the board of the Black Voices for Trump. They're on the advisory board, but they were not there in attendance. So let me see. Candace Owens was not there. Neither was Brandon Tatum, but they will be in Atlanta this coming Sunday. And speaking of Sunday, you have the Blexit rally. For some reason, Candace was not allowed to launch a campaign to promote the Blexit rally on Facebook. It just wouldn't process. It was rejected. I'm not really sure what the deal was with that. Maybe they are afraid of the black vote going elsewhere. This is a very important time, because if the black vote leaves the Democrats, and just in a small amount, I'm talking let's say it's 90% right now. If it goes to 85%, they're in trouble. Okay, 90 to 85%, they're in trouble. If it goes all the way down 75, 80, it's over. The black vote would just totally, it'd ruin the Democratic Party in many different ways, at least on a national level. Locally, that's one thing, but nationally, it's something else, especially when that's worldwide. The Blexit event will be in Buckhead at the Buckhead Theater. That'll be tomorrow, which is Sunday, November the 10th, 2019 at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If you go to Candace Owens' Instagram page, there's a link in her bio that can bring you right to the tickets. Matter of fact, I think we're actually sold out. We're sold out, but, you know, people are still going to be out there outside hanging out, but that's where it's going to be, at the Buckhead Theater. You know, so that's going to be good. Oh, I'm answering this question right here from Hip Hop Thinker. He says, did I see Tariq Nasheed's question, why not support Trump? Tariq Nasheed's a funny guy. Tariq Nasheed has me blocked, so it's hard for me to see his posts. And I've never talked to him before or had any kind of interaction with him. I've never mentioned him on Twitter. I don't know why I'm blocked from his page. It's, you know, it's kind of weird. But anyway, I think I did see some of that, but I couldn't like favorite it or anything to really remember it. But it was basically something along the lines of the Democrats aren't doing anything. I mean, the things that we all say on the right. So it's kind of weird to hear him or to see him say that. You know, it's true, of course, but for a guy like Tariq Nasheed, who's always about white supremacy this, white supremacy that, it was weird to have him go and be a little bit more nuanced. But it was a real thing. And I'm waiting on his followers to come with this coon train for him. You know, he's the guy that likes to put people on the coon train. If you're not black enough, if you're not, hating the white man enough, which is funny for him because his mother-in-law is white and a Jew on top of that, and his wife is biracial. But I digress. If you're not hating the white man enough, you get put on the coon train. So are they going to put him on the coon train? That'd be interesting to see, but I'll move on. His question was valid, and I hope that it gets somewhere, and it does not just stay on Twitter and kind of just fade into obscurity. I want it to really get somewhere so people can kind of understand. People that are on that side of the aisle politically deserve to hear something like that. They deserve to read something like that to get some real information rather than just being kind of kept into this closet or shadow unto themselves. You know, so that's what it is. But like I said, the event was great. We're going to do much more. And we have Blexit coming up Sunday. At the Blexit rally, you're going to have Candace Owens, Terrence Williams, Brandon Tatum, David Harris Jr., and quite a few others. It's going to be a great event. King Face will be there. Shout out to King Face. I saw him last time. King Face, he got a gift directly from Trump. Laura Trump delivered him a gift. Like, she came, I was right there, I saw it. She came from the side door and went straight to him, presented him with a autographed Black Voices for Trump hat that Trump had signed. I mean, the kind of treatment we get is so great. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. You get a gift delivered to you from the president live during an event. I've never seen that from anybody, any president in my life. Matter of fact, hold on, let me see if I can pull it up right quick. But I saw it. I was right there, and I witnessed it with my own two eyes. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. See right there? This picture, I was literally right next to them when that happened. She came. This is Laura Trump. She came from the side, like over here. It's like a side door. She came from over there. He was standing right there watching the event. She hand delivered him this hat that was signed by Trump. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, you know, one thing people don't understand is customer service or just how you treat people. Things like that makes them that they're kind of small to some people, but they're big because it makes a lasting impact. When you meet somebody and you're kind and you're nice and you're courteous and you're just a nice person, it leaves an impact. So it's like you leave a trail of whatever kind of whatever kind of impression you made on somebody and it changed to other people, you leave a trail of that. So if you go around, you're always negative and you mean and you're nasty and you're not really approachable, people say, okay, that's what that person is. But when you do random acts of kindness, when you go out of your way for people, when you're always nice and you always stop and smile, take pictures and shake hands, people remember that and they appreciate that. So that really made an impact on me right there. Cause it was just like, I'm sitting right there and I see this. That's like, wow, that was crazy. But hey, that's why we support Trump, because he's that kind of person that understands people. Not everybody understands people, and that's a gift that not many people have, to understand other people. It is what it is. But yeah, it was a great event. And like I said, we got Blexit coming up here tomorrow, Sunday. It'll be 4 o'clock, and it's going to be great. Let me see. Yeah, the whole family is awesome. Uh, I think Trump Jr. reposted one of my memes about coming to Thanksgiving. Like, he reposted that. They're just all just great people, just regular, down to earth. I saw the picture of Trump Jr. helping somebody, push their car down the road that had stopped like some years ago. He was just out there and just did that. Now, people could say he did that for PR or whatever, but at least he did it. I never see anybody else do something like that that's in that position. Maybe it happens, but I have not seen that myself necessarily, you know. But yeah, had a great time at the event. And thank you to everybody that's in here super chatting. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to read those right quick, and then I'm going to keep on rocking. Thank you to April Chapman, who says, it was great meeting you yesterday, ABL. I agree. We were treated with dignity and respect. Hey, likewise, it was a great time. Had a pleasure meeting you. And yeah, we were treated just so well. Being in the White House twice and being at a different Trump rally here in Tennessee, it was the same way. It's a consistent pattern of behavior. It's not like, oh, it's just this one particular time for one particular event. It's always like that. So yeah, it was great to have everybody experience that firsthand. So thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Regine7788, who says, thank you, ABL, for keeping us up to date with no hype news. God bless you. Well, thank you for your donation, and God bless you as well. Thank you to Carl's Opinion, who says, hey, Mr. Logan, glad you had a great time at the event. Carl and Cartman. Hey, thank you for your donation, man. I definitely appreciate you 100%. Thank you to my man, G. Carjalo, who says, thanks for going and sharing with us. You think events like that would end some people's preconceived notions of how things are? I mean, they should end it, but some people are going to just be stuck in the ways regardless of what it is, so, but I think more people are starting to come around. Just being at the event and talking to people, you're seeing the wheels turning, and people are out there in their communities trying to get the message across. I met a few pastors at the event that were just in the crowd with me, and they're saying, hey, I'm on my pulpit every day I can, just preaching the message, getting it out there to people, to, black churches, in the hood, wherever, talking about what I got to talk about. And shout out to the guys from Blacks for Trump. These are street dudes that got sense. You understand? I know a lot of guys like that. I got friends like that. I got friends that got locked up. Like my homeboy from Virginia, he just came home for doing 6 years, and he did 6 before that. He's only like 2 years older than me. Already did like about 12 years in jail total. And I was up there talking to him like when I was in Virginia in the summertime, and we're talking about things that just kind of make sense. See, a lot of people don't understand the problem with the black community, why we vote a certain way, is because we don't have the information. We just not taught certain things, and now they're trying to make that even worse with this new form of education, Common Core math, and I was talking to some people. One of my people that I know that I met is an educator, and shout out to him. I forget his name right now. Matter of fact, hold on, I got his book. Okay, my man Chris Morris. Shout out to Chris Morris, man. If you're watching, he gave me his book when we were on the bus back to Tennessee, and he was talking about how you can't teach kids in pre-K how to sound out words. You can't teach them sound like vowel sounds. So, when the kid is trying to read, one of the things they'll do is sound out a word. And that's really key, because when you're reading a book, like me, I wear a glass not for fashion. I'm not trying to be Rico Suave over here. I have glasses because I have, I can't really see far away, because I used to read every day. Like I was a bookworm when I was a kid. And when you come across a word you've not seen before, You want to be able to read it and kind of like remember what it was, so you could look it up later, go to the dictionary, and be able to understand what's going on, to understand the language, so you're not behind. When you can't sound it out, when you cannot learn the alphabet with the song, that kind of thing, you're going to be behind in reading. You're being set up for failure. Okay. So people are starting to see this, and they're starting to get away from that, and they want to get towards more conservatism. 100%. Yeah, it was a terrible, terrible thing, but we're getting back on track for sure. 100%. And what else we got going on here? Lost my place. Oh, the whistleblower drama. So you guys know I had a video that was out, and it was talking about the whistleblower. And now I guess I can't say his name anymore until CNN says it, because the name is everywhere. If you just search whistleblower, you'll see the name. It'll be all over the place, right? It ain't up to me to, put it out there. It's already out there. It ain't like I have the power to out this guy. It's already out there. So they sent me this email talking about, oh, your video must have context and all this, that, and the third. Fix the video and maybe it'll go back up. We'll review it. But they didn't say anything about what I actually did. It did not say what caused the video to be flagged, what caused it to be put on private, and what I can do to fix the situation. I got to go to the media, and then don't nobody say it in the chat, please, because it just cut us off and I can't talk no more. But anyway, what was that? I was talking about, so they're not telling me why. I got to go to the media, and then they tell me why. It's like, okay, rather than sending me this long drawn out email, why can't you just tell me exactly what I said and how to fix it? Simple as that. Hip hop thinker, why are you doing that? Don't put the name in there. Like, why? Listen to what I'm saying. Do not put the name in there because they're going to cut me off. I mean, unless you want to stream the end or something like that, then you could do it. But don't put the name in there. But anyway, anybody can search it on Google. You don't got to put it in the chat. But why can't you just say in the email, okay, here's a new thing that we're going to have. You can't say this guy's name. And if you do, then we're going to cut your video off. We're going to shut you down or whatever. It's as simple as that. Don't have this big, long email about nothing. And I think everybody's on the same wave. Facebook's on the same wave. Facebook's on the same wave. But somehow Instagram is not, although Instagram is also Facebook. It's weird. Because it's still on Instagram. The original meme I had, it's still on Instagram. So if you want to see it, you can go to my Instagram page right now and check it out. But anyway, Twitter is not on the wave. I'm not really sure what's going on with these social media companies. I feel like Twitter may end up joining them because they did the same thing with Alex Jones. They were kind of late to the party. Everybody else had banned him, and then it might have been Twitter or YouTube. Somebody was late to it, and then they finally said, okay, we're going to do it too. But what's going to happen is they'll have CNN come out and say it, and then we can say it. But it's like, okay, you're waiting for CNN to be the arbiter of what can and cannot be said. I think one thing that I saw on, what was that? I saw it on, on Twitter a lot. People were saying this is the Ministry of Truth from 1984. They're going to review what should be allowed, what shouldn't be allowed, and then you'd be able to say it. But at the end of the day, I'm on different social media platforms. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So it'll get out there regardless of what. You can't really, stop it. It is what it is. And you know what? I'm seeing something in the chat, and I'm going to address it right now. And I ain't going to talk about it no more. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I'm going to address it right now. Somebody said, look at these Christians and this grifter justifying his word, homos. Now, since when was it like this big thing? Since when was being gay this big thing in conservatism? Like this is something new. This is something that's really recent, because I don't remember all of this when Milo Yiannopoulos was the big dog, when he was over at Breitbart, when he was having the guys in the MAGA hats carry him on his throne, when he was wearing drag on tour, on his dangerous F-word tour. He was talking about what he does with his gay, with his black husband. I don't remember all of this negativity towards homosexuals or homosexuality in that period of time. People loved Milo. Same thing with Blair White. Okay, you got guys that are talking against homosexuality right now, saying you shouldn't promote it, that did whole full shows with Blair White in the studio, taking pictures with him and everything. So where was all this energy back then? Also, the leader of the walkaway movement, Brandon Strock, is openly gay and says it a lot. Where's all the energy towards Brandon Strock? Scott Presler, the guy who organized the cleanups in Baltimore and Los Angeles recently. Where was all the energy towards Brandon Strock, towards Scott Presler, towards Milo, towards Blair White? But Rob Smith is where you draw the line. Why? Racism? No. It's because of Turning Point USA. One guy has envy towards Turning Point USA and wants to say that they're a bad organization. So they attack Rob Smith for being gay, and then they try to attach religion to it. But it's phony because that person is also friends with Milo. So if you're friends with Milo, you support him, you promote him, then what's the deal with Rob Smith? Rob Smith is much less flamboyant than Milo. So this whole thing is just kind of stupid. And I think that at a certain point we'll get beyond it and talk about real things. It is what it is. My thing is this. If you're doing good work, like prime example, Scott Presler, if you out here and you're doing good work like everybody else, what's the problem? You're organizing cleanups. So if you're against gays in the conservative movement, are you going to tell Scott, hey, those tons of trash you picked up for free, risking getting pricked by HIV needles and stuff like that? That trash you picked up and you organized 300 people to do it for free? Put all that trash back right where it was at. So everybody that lives right there can deal with the disease, the rats, and the constant vermin that comes from the trash. Tell them that. Tell everybody that walked away from the Democratic Party to go back to the Democratic Party because Brandon Strock is gay. You see what I'm saying? It's stupid. It makes no sense. But anyway, I'll move on. Now, what was I ready to say? And the Ben Shapiro speech was a great speech. Speaking about the same kind of wave, it was a great speech. Shout out to him. It was weird how he was denouncing people that are, kind of bigoted in the speech, and he was still getting people that were like saying, they were trying to protest him. Some people will just be led by anybody, and they'll do anything that person says, even if it makes no sense. You'll be led by a person to do a thing, even if it makes no sense. I think Ben did a great job. And I think one person got removed from like some kind of platform, but it's too easy. If you are having these really far right kind of bigoted views, it's easy for the left. Like what the left does, they'll say just out in front, the right, they're bigoted, they're hateful, this, that, and the third. They'll say we're bigoted and hateful for wanting basic things that everybody wants. Like when I went to El Paso, the 85% Hispanic city, I'm talking to people on the street, just at a bar. I don't even drink. I'm just at the bar hanging out with people. I'm talking to people that live there about the wall they have on their city. I'm like, is the wall good? Is the wall bad? You going to tear it down? What's going on? They're saying, no, we need that wall. We need protections and the ability to make our city safe because right across the border in Juarez is very dangerous. People don't understand how dangerous a place like Juarez is. The violence is like you never seen before in the States. You see gang violence and whatnot in inner city Chicago, but in Juarez, like I've never seen anybody in Chicago get put into a vat of acid and dissolved. That's going on in Juarez like it's nothing. You get disappeared. Like the violence is real. People say, oh, just, make drugs legal. And then the cartel, they have no more ability to operate. That's just really simple minded. If you make drugs legal, you're not going to end illegal drug sales because, quite frankly, guys that are in the street right now, your dope boys in the street right now, what are they selling? You might be able to get weed from a guy on the street, but not really. I mean, at this point, weed is so available. It's like the country is awash in weed. Buying weed is like buying cigarettes almost. So they're not selling weed. Crackheads are kind of a thing of the past. Like, there's not a whole lot of new crackheads. What's going on right now is these pills. These are legal drugs being sold illegally. So how are you going to make legal drugs legal? You understand? The cartels can only be fought with force. Simple as that. And have physical barriers that prevent them from being able to come over here. Also, these ports of entry, when they get overwhelmed, a lot of times you have these gangbangers kind of like fit in with the other people that are quote unquote claiming asylum. And once they get into the country, they're in the country and they can do whatever they want from inside. People are getting murdered in the U.S. due to cartel violence that has been imported here from the so-called ports of entry. People are claiming, oh, I want to get asylum, this, that, and the third. Most of them are bogus. People, regular normies out there that are so on the left talking about, oh, well, they're just trying to get a better life, this, that, and the third. Please, come on. Most of them are simply trying to get money, number one. And number two, they're trying to gangbang. Now, I'm not saying that the people trying to get money are criminals all the time, but the gangbangers most certainly are. And they not only do drugs or sell drugs, pardon me, they also engage in human trafficking. They're stealing oil from pipelines, literally poking holes in physical pipelines and stealing the oil and selling it on the black market. They're doing that. They're stealing and selling vehicles, all kind of stuff they're doing. They're stealing copper and everything they can steal and sell, they're stealing and sell it. Any kind of violence they can get into, they'll get into the violence. That's what's going on with these cartels. So why would you want to have that kind of level of violence and crime coming to your country virtually unabated? You don't want that. I will be at the Blexit Atlanta event tomorrow, Malu Smile. That's going to be at the Buckhead Theater at 4:00 tomorrow. That'll be Sunday, November the 10th. This person, one is always in here. At a certain point, if you're always in my chat, that means you're a fan. You can't call me a clown, but be in all of my chats every single time and be the first person in here. That's not how that works. At a certain point, you're just a fan and you enjoy the show. Just admit it. Let me see. I'm just reading the chat right here. Yeah, Juarez is really bad over there. Let me see. Thank you, K.A. Wheeler. I appreciate you. I'm going to try to get back to the White House a lot more if possible. Let me see. Oh, Don Jr. on The View. He wiped the floor with him. Wiped the floor. It was great. It was excellent. And I like how you brought out some of the old stuff. He brought out the whole thing about Whoopi Goldberg defending the rapist Roman Polanski, who fled to Poland, I think, after he, was getting ready to get convicted or at least tried for rape. He drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl. Whoopi Goldberg said, oh, it wasn't rape. When Don Jr. said that, I was like, wow, I was shocked. I was like, she said that for real? And then they brought up some clips of her saying it on The View. This is back in the day. I think they had Sherry Shepherd and people like that on there. But she said it. So you defend the rapist, Roman Polanski, the pedophile Roman Polanski. You defend him. And Whoopi Goldberg's boyfriend back in the 80s was Ted Danson. And he put on that real blackface. Matter of fact, I got the picture of Ted Danson and blackface, Whoopi Goldberg right there next to him. So I guess she's not really, it's weird how all these leftists love wearing blackface. They'll say the right, you're racist, you're hateful, you're bigoted. And if you wear blackface, you're definitely you're definitely hateful, racist, and bigoted. But yet, it's them that are doing it. Look at this here. See, that's Ted Danson right here wearing the blackface. This is the old school. This right here, this is the real blackface. Like, totally blackface with the big lips and everything. And here's Whoopi Goldberg smiling, skinning and grinning like it's all good. Okay, so obviously she's not really offended by blackface. To her, it's funny. This is her man wearing it. So it ain't just a matter of her sitting right here randomly and this guy happens to just pop up. This is her boyfriend at the time. She's in a relationship with him at the time and he has on a blackface. So apparently she's cool with it. They're cool with it. So when you have Joy Behar that wears a quote unquote dark makeup, which in my opinion was not really blackface, but to the left, according to their standards, that would be blackface. 1000%. Matter of fact, if you've not seen that, I'll put it up on the screen right quick. Give me a moment. So when Joy Behar wears that, of course, Whoopi Goldberg would say, oh, it's not blackface. Of course, she would defend her because when her boyfriend wore blackface, it was all good and she had no problem with it. She was right there smiling like it was no problem. So, of course, she would defend her friend, Joy Behar. And like I said, it's funny how it's always the leftists doing stuff like this. All right. So the backstory here is that I guess it's some kind of like Halloween party or something. And her costume was of a quote unquote beautiful black woman. So you went as a black woman for Halloween. You know, she said it was her hair. It was not a wig, but she has on like, I don't know, some supposedly African cloth. Not really, you know, all the way there, but close enough. And she said she had on some darker makeup than usual. So you got your hoop earrings, your darker makeup, your African garb, your afro. It's your hair, but it's an afro. And that's not a problem. But imagine if it were Ivanka Trump doing something like this. Racist, KKK, Nazi. I knew you were a racist. This is blackface, all this, that, and the third. So it's interesting to see how the left carried themselves and what they do. I mean, Ralph Northam, blackface. The lieutenant governor, the attorney general, Mark Herring. The attorney general, Mark Herring, blackface. Joy Behar, blackface. Jimmy Kimmel, blackface. Sarah Silverman, blackface. Ted Danson, blackface. Robert Downey Jr., blackface in the movie, where his whole thing was to be in blackface and intimidate black voices. Okay, Justin Trudeau, blackface multiple times. When he was a grown man, 29 years old, talking about, I had on brown face. Brown face, it looked black to me. Trudeau had the blackest face of all. His was more elaborate than Ralph Northam, Joy Behar, Ted Danson, everybody. He had the most, his hands and everything was black. He put on, he dipped himself in the pool of tar and became black. That's what he did. I've never seen anybody on the right with a picture like this. But again, people on the right, they're the racists, and the left, they're not. Got it. I'm with you 100%. See, one thing about me, people learn is that my biggest pet peeve is hypocrites. Oh, I can't stand it. It boils my blood to no end. My thing is this: if you're gonna be one way, be that way all the time. Don't just be that way sometimes. Be that way all the time. If you say one thing, adhere to that way and don't change up when it's convenient. If you say that you are against the LGBT community and conservatism, don't be hanging out with Maya Yiannopoulos like he's your best friend at the same time. Be the same way all the time and don't be switching up. I'm a consistent person. I love people that are the same way. If you're not the same way, then it irks me to no end. That's all I can say about that. Yeah, it was funny. It was funny to see, but back to Don Jr. on The View. That's why this whole thing started about blackface. He did excellent. Somebody said that Don Jr. and Kim should be regular members of The View. That would just be hilarious. Fantastic. And one thing about Meghan McCain, look, her father passed away. May he rest in peace. I know that it's hard for a person to lose their father, but that can't be the basis of every argument. You break into tears over your dad. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, that just can't be it. You got to talk about something else. I could talk about my granddad that died due to, being prescribed drugs as to why I'm against drugs, but I don't bring that up. I give my 2 cents and that's it. I'm not going to just bust out crying talking about my granddad. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was a painful event, I got to put that aside and talk about the facts. So I'm not really trying to hear this tearful, you know what I mean? The pain from her father and politics and The View and stuff like that should be separate, in my humble opinion. It is what it is. Oh, Don Jr. is hilarious. And I think Don Jr. might be the next guy up. People are saying, who's going to be next after Trump is done, and the second term is over with? Who's going to be the next guy? I think it'll be Don Jr. he's not talking about running right now because his dad is running again for 2020. But right around 2022, you'll see Don Jr. talk about running. He may be in full campaign mode at that particular point because it'll be a race to get that seat. 1,000%. So that'll be what it is. Let me see. Coach Alpha Elite says Ben Shapiro is the loudest voice for the left. Gay tolerance and trans tolerance is not conservatism. That's liberalism. He denied the existence of Jesus Christ. That's all I need to hear. Well, all right. Shout out to you, man, Alpha Elite. I appreciate you for being here. But since when I became conservative, I never heard this anti-gay movement. It just wasn't there. The whole thing that I've always heard and that I've always been able to appreciate is how we say, if you want to be gay, that's your business. It's not my business. What you do in the bedroom, that's your business. However, when it comes to children and sexualizing them, teaching about homosexuality or sexuality in general in school to children, that should be off limits. And I don't think there's a gay conservative out there that's in their right mind that would disagree with that. And that's not only about homosexuality, that's about heterosexuality too. I saw this picture of this lady. She was, be a little graphic here, she was on a table in the middle school, like physically on top of a table, right? So this is the table, and she's on the back like a turtle, right? Like this, like a turtle. Her legs are up in the air, and she has a dildo like pointing towards her vagina, talking about this is how you have sex. And these are kids. These are like middle school kids. So that right there is what we're talking about. Sexualizing children, inappropriate things in school. That's what we're talking about. If somebody's gay, ain't nobody worried about that. Because, I mean, like, where was everybody at talking about Brandon Strout, the walkaway movement? Nobody has said, oh, he can't be leading this movement because he's gay. Nobody has said that. It's only up until recently where this guy came out and made this whole movement against Turning Point USA that this even became an issue. It's not a real issue at the end of the day. And of course, Jews are not going to say that Jesus was the Messiah. That's their religion. You know, that's just what it is. Just like atheists are going to be the same way. Buddhists will be the same way. Taoists will be the same way. Muslims will be the same way. You know, I mean, now, if you want to get into, you know, having Christianity be the only religion, then you get into what they call it, a theocracy, and you violate the Constitution. Church and state shall be separate. This is really where that actually comes into play. Liberals misuse that quote from the Constitution. They'll say you can't have prayer in schools because the state is separate from the church. That's not quite what that means. The government cannot establish religion. They can't say, okay, this is the religion and these are the tenets of the religion you must follow. So if you cannot establish religion at the state level, how are you going to get gays out of the movement? Which you just going to be bigoted towards them? All you're going to do at that point is just push people away that are gay and push tolerant people away, and you have much less people on your side. So you're trying to get things done, right? You're trying to get the wall built. You're trying to win the trade war. You're trying to get the economy rocking continuously and not going back. You're trying to get healthcare taken care of. You're trying to get these really big and lofty goals accomplished, the wall being the biggest one in my humble opinion. You're trying to get these things done. And also to ward off socialism, which is right out our front door. The leading candidate for president right now, Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, she says, okay, we want healthcare for all, 42 trillion, whatever the big number was. That's right here at our door. So rather than focusing on trying to keep that away and fight for our particular things, you want to say, if you're gay, you can't be in the movement. It's short-sighted, and it's not even a thing that we were talking about 6 months ago. So why are we talking about it now? I don't understand. It's weird. It's like it's not even a real thing. That's such a small issue. That's really just like morality, and everybody has their own sense of morality. I think that should be separate from politics. You know, you could be Christian and be, 100% to the book of the Bible Christian. You could be Muslim. You could be whatever you want in America. That's the whole thing about America. It's a free country. When you go to Iran You have theocracy. You cannot do whatever you want to do. Get caught outside with no headscarf on, you get beat almost to death. I know people from Iran that have escaped because of the theocracy, because they had no freedom in what they were able to do and not do. So you don't want to have that here in the States. That was the whole point of, establishing the country and the tenets we live by in the Constitution is to prevent us from becoming, controlled by the church or a church. It is what it is. So I hope that it just kind of goes away, this whole anti-gay thing, because it ain't really a real thing. Alpha Elite says the most intolerant movement will win. It's human history. Why do you think the left is the way it is? The political Rubicon of Overton window has widened to the extreme. I mean, yeah. Intolerant movements win. Like what, Iran? If you want to be like that, I say go for it. I mean, I think the idea is to fight against that. It's to fight against intolerance, because intolerance will consume you as well. Because if you go all the way to the extreme of religion, nobody wins. Nobody ever wins in a theocracy, period. It don't even really matter. So if you just go and lay down and just accept that, then I say go for it. But I'm going to fight to prevent that from happening. People think, we can have our religion and our values, but then it's just like people that support communism. They support it until they understand what it's really going to be in reality. When they are hungry, and there's no food, and they're in the bread line waiting, then they're going to be like, I made a mistake. You understand what I'm saying? When you go to a tribunal to get medical treatment or something, I mean, then you're going to be like, okay, it's too late. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Can we go back? Let me see. Lisa says, when I went to parochial school, Christian, I was taught when you go out in the real world, everyone will not be Christian. They made it clear that you should not disrespect someone else's religion. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you go to, you go to Iran, you go to the theocracy, everybody's one way, except for those that are blasphemers and they get killed or excommunicated, or you got to escape. So you're funny guys are nasty. Let me see. But Alpha Elite, explain to me why the focus is on Charlie Kirk, though, because, okay, Charlie Kirk has a platform. Okay, I'm going to read this and I'm going to just move on. He said Charlie Kirk and his platform has brought on the gays. Morality only stems from religious beliefs. You cannot legislate the hearts of man. This is why we have 19,000 anti-two-way laws, 50 to 70K felony laws. Okay, but listen to what I'm saying. Why focus on Charlie Kirk? There are other people that happen to be gay that have very big movements. Brandon Sharp, walk away. This man is the face of the movement. You see him everywhere. People all over the world have walked away. They've done videos. They go to the events. They go to the conferences. He has a big movement. Scott Presler, he goes everywhere with his laptop talking about why he's gay and why he supports Trump. He did the Baltimore cleanup and the LA cleanup. Why is there no focus on him? Mala Yiannopoulos, why was there no talk about him, damaging the country and ruining morality and all that and the third? It's now because of Charlie Kirk, because one guy came out and spoke against him because he's envious of Charlie. He wants to be Charlie. It's simple, because that guy is friends with Malo, who was more of a quote-unquote degenerate than Rob Smith could ever be. Rob is a great person. I know him. He's a friend. He never says anything like Malo does, but this guy is besties with Malo, so I don't understand. This is just people online looking at stuff and getting excited by it. But I'll move on because I'm kind of done with that particular topic. Thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. Let me see. Yeah, people need to stop. Like the religious stuff, that's not even real. And quite frankly, I've seen people get super religious, and it's always kind of not a shock to me when they find out to not really be so religious. The Eddie Longs of the world, Dylan the Boys. It's always like that. And I don't mean to put a blanket label on people that are very religious. I'm just saying when people get a large platform like that and they get very religious, there's always something in the background that kind of, when you like really pointing the finger, all that in the third, you kind of hateful in your religion. A lot of times you got something in your closet that you don't want the people to know about. You see what I'm saying? It comes from insecurity, and I don't operate like that. I operate just from a place of truth and honesty and transparency. Not everybody's like that. Black Wall Street. How did Black Wall Street get brought up? That's random. All right, let's get to the calls. You guys in the chat, hey, if you want to talk to me, I'm all open. The calls are going to be open. This is going to be fun. Anybody in the chat that is talking and saying that I'm endorsing, what do they call it? I'm endorsing blasphemy. Anybody that's saying that, come on, and we'll go ahead and get her done. Let me go ahead and sign into my Skype right quick, and then we go ahead and get rocking. All right, the number to call is 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. Hold on one second here. And I'm going to go ahead and get this thing started. Let's see. All right, 1 second. And thank y'all for being here. Please hit the like button if you've not done so already. And also share the video. And if you're not subscribed, please do so. That helps me out tremendously. I thank y'all for being here. All righty. And we're up. The number to call, again, is 434-658-1220. If anybody has any kind of thing they want to say that's against kind of what I'm on, please call. I can't wait. Okay, and the lines are blowing up already. Let's go ahead and get into it. 502, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Kim from Kentucky.
All righty, what's happening?
All right, well, you're talking about racism and sexuality and all that. And, back in the day, we had Sanford and Son on TV and the Jeffersons on TV, and they would make fun of the racism, and it was funny. It was all in fun.
Right.
And these leftist liberal Democrats, whatever they are, they want to bring all this back up and try to start a racial war, I believe. I don't know what they're trying to do. And everybody's sexuality is their own business, nobody else's, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So that's all I was wanting to say. I typed it in there, but I don't think you've seen it. So I just want to let you know and see what you thought about it.
Well, I mean, I'm right there with you, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's kind of like not even the real issue. People are trying to make it be a big issue, like you said. It could be to start a racial war, to start a lot of conflict. It's a classic tactic, divide and conquer. They're trying to get us that way. But we're better if we're united and we don't let the little small things that really, truly don't even matter divide us. Just everybody get together on one accord for what matters. We're talking about the economy. We're talking about the wall. We're talking about keeping away socialism and communism. Those are the really big issues. Worrying about morality of individual people, I feel like is a non-issue.
Yeah, well, that's the way I feel too. But them leftist liberals, they're just wanting to stir up some trouble, and I don't know if they're wanting a civil war in the United States, or if they're just wanting to try to take over and make it communism.
That's what it seems like. I can't really tell which one.
Yeah, I don't either. But I mean, that's what it seems like to me, and I just wanted to call in and say that. And I watch your show every time it's on, and I appreciate you out there, and I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And the lines are jumping. So I'm trying to get to the next one here. 719, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, how are you doing?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What's going on?
Hi. I like your subject tonight. I agree with the last caller that back in our day, there was a lot of crap going on, but a lot of people really wanted to get out of it. They wanted things to be more light and, to be able to laugh at each other. People with hate in their heart, it doesn't matter what color they are. When they have hate in their heart and their soul, it's their whatever color they are. And as far as Trump goes, Martin Luther King Jr. gave him an award, because he did a lot for the black people. And there was a time even when Rand Paul was a dentist, and he wanted to fly over to Africa with some other doctors to help out over there, and they didn't have any way, their flight, they didn't have the money for the plane and stuff and the gas, and Trump supplied his own plane and free gas and everything. So, it's kind of really dumb that, they want to call the man a racist. Trump doesn't hate anybody. He'd get along with all the Democrats if they didn't treat him so crappy all the time.
That's right.
And it's just a shame these days because, when you can't look at yourself and laugh or have other people laugh with you, you've lost something in the mix.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at a certain point, people can't just be so serious all the time. They got to be able to kind of enjoy life and just kind of just be regular people. People just so caught up in trying to fight all the time, they may have lost the art about how to just be a human being and live.
And that's the way most people are these days. I mean, things have gotten really nasty, but in all honesty, it's always been that way. It's just now that people have opened up the door for them to say it's okay to be nasty to each other. They opened Pandora's box, and then one day they're going to want to close it back up, and they're going to have a rude awakening because Pandora, she's a bitch, and she does not like going back in that box.
That's right. 100%.
Yeah, they're making a big mistake. And on the gay thing, I had my first gay friend. I was 9 years old. She was my best friend's sister. We were best friends for about 4 years, and I didn't even know she was gay. She was 15, and she was the nicest person. And, these gay people that are running around now with their pink hats on and the Me Too movement and let's all march, they're true gays. They're not like that. They do not push it on you. In fact, they do everything they can to make sure that they don't. They're very nice people. They're kind, because they have a lot of crap they have to deal with themselves. But it's kind of strange now because the gays have come out of the closet and the Republicans have gone in.
Yeah.
They're afraid. People talk about the polls, and the reason that they were wrong last time and they're wrong this time is because Republicans are not talking about who they're going to vote for, or even Democrats or independents, or even blacks. They're just not going to talk about it because they don't want their kids harassed. They don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to be called filthy names on the internet, or social media, or by news people, outed so that people can go and trash their house. So they're really wrong. I think they're going to find, just like last time, they're not going to. They're going to be wrong with the polls again. They're going to have a lot of Republicans, Democrats, some Democrats too, because honestly, like most of us, we were Democrats and we jumped the fence. And I got news for Hillary. What happened? What happened is you told, with the woman vote, you told a bunch of people that, oh, you're going to lose your job. I'm going to take your job. Yeah, I was running out there to vote for you, Hillary, so, because you wanted to starve my kids and make me sleep in my car because I couldn't afford my mortgage. Women, that really, you tell us you're going to starve our families out, we can't wait to vote for you. There's what happened. And this Me Too movement, I swear to God, I wish they would take those hats and pull them down over their mouths and duct tape them. Most people today, we are not teaching our children, and not to say, but during the civil rights movement, towards the end when Martin Luther King was really out there marching and people were all marching together, most people don't even realize that women didn't even have the vote either.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, it just wasn't women of color, it was all women.
That's
So we were
100% correct.
fighting our own, yeah, we were fighting our own battles back then. And Hillary, she made us look like a bunch of back scratching bees who can't lose gracefully. Uh, you know, uh, I hate all men. I don't want my man to open the door. And honestly, I've never relied on men for anything. I've been married a really long time, but I can drywall, paint, get under a car, but don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that I don't want my big, strong husband to pick me up, throw me over his shoulder. Anybody that says they don't, they're a liar. Anybody that says they don't like men wolf whistling at them when they walk down the street, they're a liar. Women love that crap, and the Me Too movement, they have made us look like they have taken us back 50 years. What women have accomplished, just not in the home, but out in the world, they have taken us back 50 years. Honestly, she would have to be really great for me to vote for her. My husband at first was going to vote for Hillary, and I told him, no, you're not. So much for her and Michelle Obama's women went against themselves because their husbands and their sons and their fathers made them vote for Trump. I told my husband, that's fine. You want to vote for Hillary? You can start shopping and cleaning and cooking and all of that stuff that I do so you can sit in and play videos and drink beer. He said, okay, I won't vote for Hillary. I said, I thought you'd see things my way.
That's right. That's right.
I really hate what they've done to women, the way they make us look like we are just a bunch of backbiters who cannot take that when we lose. Believe me, we've taken losses a lot over a century, if not longer, and we've come out of it just fine. But these women nowadays, these aren't women, and our kids have no idea that are growing up. These college kids, they have not got a clue of their history. I've seen them on TV be asked what the Independence Day means to them. Fireworks? Are you kidding me? Fireworks?
Yeah, it's really crazy. I mean, I'm not really sure. I think that some of these kids are going to be just fine. Like a lot of them I talk to, they kind of understand what's going on, but a lot of them, it just kind of lost. But I'm in the country right here, but I got a lot of calls on the line, so I thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. You have a great time. I love your show.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Call's off to a great start tonight. And you guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1222. Do not be afraid to call. It is all good. I thank y'all for being here. Like the video, please. Share the video, all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. 1,000%. All right. Yeah, best call already. Yeah, best call for sure. All right. Let me get to my next call here. All right, Nico, what's happening?
Hi, Anthony. How have you been? I'm actually driving right now.
All right, man.
So it's dark.
You got to be safe on the road now.
I'm fine. Anyway, I just really want to say this, that have you seen what was going on with The View?
Yeah, I saw that with Trump Jr.
Yeah, and Joy Behar, if I pronounced it right. And then she says, and then I remember seeing this in the past when she says, "Oh, I'm a beautiful African woman," and then all of a sudden in the recent one she says that. Have you seen that where she says, "Oh, I didn't put on blackface," and then Whoopi was like, "Oh, there you go. She hasn't put on blackface. Like, I guess I didn't put on blackface."
Yeah, I mean, but see, Whoopi Goldberg, her boyfriend at the time, Ted Danson, back in the 80s, wore blackface in front of her, and it wasn't a big deal. So she'll defend anybody that wears blackface, apparently, if she's friends with him.
No, I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it. Frankly, I'm actually someone who doesn't really care about it. Or if you're someone who's wearing a poncho, sort of I remember something like that where I think it was somewhere in New England, some New England college where they were having this Mexican themed party and they were wearing these sombreros. And then all of a sudden these extreme liberal college students were shut it down because they said it was cultural appropriation.
Yeah, see, the thing about that, The only issue with that is like a lot of these people, they'll say that if somebody else on the right were to have on something like that, it'd be cultural appropriation, it'd be racist, it'd be bigoted or whatever. But when they wear it, it's not a problem. It's just about hypocrisy. Just be consistent with what you believe and don't just switch it up when it suits you.
No, I mean, there's nothing wrong. Let's say let's say some white kid dresses up as Black Panther or Moana, or some black little girl dresses up like Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I don't frankly care about that, okay? If they're your favorite characters, they're your favorite characters, and I'll respect you for that, okay?
No doubt.
That's how I see it. And what's really another thing I want to say is that I actually wasn't sure if you caught on to this, but have you heard this? I'm not sure if this story is true or not, but have you actually heard about this South Carolina restaurant owner that was abusing a black dude that with a disability and exploited him?
Yeah, that's kind of an old story, but I think he got sentenced for it now. So yeah, I heard about that. That was really crazy.
No, I mean, what's your care to comment on that, Anthony?
It's not much to say. I mean, I think that the person obviously was abusing somebody that was disabled, and yeah, they definitely should be in jail for that.
No, I mean that's kind of really upsetting because I know I've gone over that story many times because even when I was a lot younger, considering my condition, that's happened to me growing up. But now that I've gotten older and learned from experience, I've actually taught myself how to be one step ahead of these people. So it really gets to me personally when I hear stories like this.
I feel you, man. I hear you 100%.
Yeah, and another thing is that about the Kentucky elections, this thing I want to say about the Kentucky elections is that some actually claim that it was stolen, Anthony.
Yeah, I'm hearing about that. I'm hearing that it could have been some fraud going on. Yeah, so I mean, I can't tell. I mean, I think there might be an investigation into that to see if it's a valid claim or not.
And I really want to say, I really applaud you for that last video where you talked about demographics. When you said it wasn't necessarily about demographics, it was about the big cities dictating how the whole state is run. And that kind of wants to bring an interesting story. Have you heard of a city called Bakersfield, which is in California?
Yeah.
So it's 2 hours away from north of Los Angeles, and it's a big city, but there's a lot of rural outskirts around it. And the weird thing is that I remember seeing this one video because that city is actually a deep red enclave, and there was this one where this Mexican immigrant who actually owns a gun shop, and he says that the one thing, and I remember this one quote he says, the one thing I love about America is the Second Amendment, and I'm not willing to give it up.
That's right, 100%.
Yeah, and another thing is, and with all this gas tax I hear them talking about, yeah, sure, you always lecture people about getting electric cars, such as the Chevy Volt or the Teslas, but what about those rural people that are far away from these special Tesla ports that you probably see in shopping malls, where they have to drive 200 miles to get out there? And also those ranchers that have to drive with their Ford's 350 diesel engines, where they're struggling with because they're almost taxed out of their lifestyle.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the whole issue. People just they don't understand the needs of everybody. They operate from their big cities where everything is right there close and they got money. They don't understand the lives of those that don't live the same as them.
No, because I've been working out in the rural areas recently, and it is seriously a whole different world compared to San Francisco. And they're always talking about wanting to recall Gavin Newsom, and then I see him on this Walmart parking lot where a lot of people are lined up at the booth and trying to sign the petition ASAP.
Right.
All right, but I think not really much I gotta say right here, Anthony. So I'm still going to be out on the road, but I'm just going to make sure I get safely to my destination.
Definitely, man. I thank you for the call as always. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, have a good night, my friend.
Right,
Happy Veterans Day.
All right, now take care. All right, thank you to my man Nico for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And shout out to y'all calling. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Charles L., you want to call into the chat, man, you're more than welcome. The phone line open to anybody. Anybody that want to call in, whatever they want to say, call on in. It'll all be good. But let me get to my next call here. 843, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, this is Tyler. How we doing, buddy?
Everything is good, man. About yourself?
Oh, good. Listen to another good show as always.
All right.
Hey, that last caller, I'd like to expand a little bit on what she was saying. She kind of knocked everything out of the park, but it was a good reminder. She was saying, we don't want to separate ourselves as conservatives. We need to remind, any conservative is a good conservative. And this new idea, like, you were discussing earlier that, that the sexuality is going to play a place of, where you're supposed to vote. That's insane. Some of us older people remember, for the most part, older gay men used to be conservative. I know I lived in the city in Columbus, Ohio for 8 years, and I watched them rehab entire neighborhoods and live and function and pay taxes and be good citizens. And I mean, I don't think we need to separate ourselves from gay folks. I mean, we all know what's going on. Dave Chappelle said it best, with his descriptions of, what's going on. We know who's causing the problems and making the noise, but, we need everybody. You see people like all week we've been talking about, Charlie, and everybody's been attacking Charlie. I mean, he's out here trying to pull people in. How can that be wrong? I mean, we got to step back and remember that, whose side are we on? We're on each other's side. We're all on the Trump train. Let's just enjoy the ride,
Exactly. Some people just want to impose their vision of what they think being a conservative is on the other people. But it's like, look, you can have your opinion and that's fine. But when you're trying to push people away, it's like, all right, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to win or are you trying to lose? If you're trying to win, get everybody on your side, get everybody to fight for what we all want. Some of these basic things, keeping away socialism, getting the healthcare on track, getting rid of this idea of universal healthcare, tightening the wall up. So things we can all agree on. We might not agree on everything, but let's agree on the main things and let's get it done. Or the alternative is don't get everybody on board with it and lose everything that you want to the left.
Yeah, exactly. It's a no-brainer. And the fact, even, for example, yesterday, what you attended, at the event, when you looked on, even on Fox News, there's people, on there, you got the trolls on there attacking, and then just within the black conservative movement, you've got other black conservatives attacking each other on their style. Like I hear people, they're hating on B. Tatum and stuff, and I'm like, what? And, and even Luke, like, even how, I've had my disagreements with Luke the last few weeks, but he's still my guy. I mean, he's still, he's on the right track. I don't want to agree with everything everybody says. That won't be, the world will get boring then.
That's right, exactly. I agree with you 100%. Everybody's not going to be on the same page. Like I said before, I've been in business for myself since I've been 2021. I'm 35, and I remember when I first started really being out there when I was doing my graphic design thing. I worked with a guy that I did not like. I hated him from day one. Just didn't like him, but I understood. It was like, okay, I don't like this dude. I want to fight him right now and go ahead and get it done. But you know what? I want to go ahead and, get my career off the ground. I want to be professional. Right. And we worked together, made a lot of money together. I met a lot of people through that connection. I didn't just think, okay, I hate him. I don't want to deal with him. I worked with him, and we were able to get a lot accomplished together. That doesn't mean I just, grew to love him. It wasn't quite that, but I respected him in the business way. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day when you're talking about getting things accomplished.
Yes, and that's what we gotta keep that focus because that's what without Trump, really, what do we have? We know what we're up against with the rhinos and the deep state. That even the people in the White House that are against him, we know what we're up against. We got to pull it together. We got one more year to do this, and then the country can stay on track. Hopefully for another 4 years.
That's right.
And we'll deal with the next problem. So. All right, bro. Well, keep it up, man. Good show.
All right. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, bro. All right, now.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Always appreciate him calling in. I see my man named Lucas in the chat. Lucas, what's going on with you, boss? Call on up, man. I know you want to call on up. Let me get to my next call. 334, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Ellis.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Man, nothing much, man. Enjoying the show tonight. I wanted to call in and talk about I know the previous caller was talking about, the homosexual being in the conservative movement.
Yeah.
And basically, how we shouldn't, shun them from the movement because we need the numbers and so on and so forth. And I think you pretty much agree with that, right?
Well, I think that beyond just the numbers, I think that, I don't think most of us are bigoted like that to just shun people away because of what they do in their time, in their private time.
Right. Okay. I can go along with that. See, my issue with it is, okay, let's say we know what the left is doing, right? So they're, out marching, they're, using the media, TV shows, everything, public schools, all that to try to get their message across, right? Transgenderism and homosexuality, all that. So if we're against that, why are we going to, allow people within the conservative movement to be doing the same exact thing? It's different if you're keeping quiet about what you're doing, then cool. But when you make it, public and known to everybody, then you're no different than the left.
All right,
in my opinion.
So what are they? So what are they doing? That's the same thing as those that we disagree with.
Well, basically trying to normalize the behavior. So if someone is gay, right, and they don't tell everybody, make it public that, hey, I like to be with a man, then no one is going to know the difference. But when you make it public and you put that at the forefront of what you're saying, then it kind of overrides the whole argument. Like it's like almost trying to make it, okay or normalize the behavior when we all know it's not.
Personally, I don't really care one way or the other. I'm not going to say it's wrong or right. That's not my business. That's not my lifestyle. I'm not going to get into it,
right.
But that's not something I'm going to be like, oh, that's wrong. I'm going to go out here and try to preach that it's wrong. That's not even something I'm concerned with. So right. I think the main thing is that you want to have everybody on board, period, regardless. And people that are gay can help you in a lot of different ways. The main way is that a lot of gay people that are on the right are against all this stuff that they're trying to do to children. I've not seen any gay person on the right before drag queen story time or for, teaching homosexuality to children in schools. I've not seen that. If anybody's doing that, I'm against it.
Not yet.
But see, you can't predict the future, so you can't say, oh, since they might do it, let's get them out right now. What you should do is, if anybody's doing that, then you point them out at that particular point. But you just can't say, oh, well, since they might do it, then let's go ahead and get them out right now. It doesn't make any sense. That's like pre-crime Minority Report stuff.
Okay, I hear you on that, but we saw the same thing. This whole LGBT, QIA, all that stuff, all that's been building up over years. So at some point, they said, oh, well, we just want to, be homosexual in the open and that's all. Then it went to, oh, we want to be, we want to dress like a cross dress and that's supposed to be okay. Then it went from cross dressing to, oh, we're going to change the whole sex to now we got, 5-year-old kids being pushed into switching their gender at 5 and 6 and 7 years old. So there's always that build up. Once that door is open, the door is going to be wide open. So within the conservative movement, we're going to see the same thing happen if we allow it. It's going to come in and it's going to take over.
But see, check it out, though. You still got to have people that are gay and conservative are still going to have conservative values. They're not trying to harm children. See, a lot of these people that are trying to harm children are just straight pedophiles regardless of what, and the left are allowing it to be. See, the thing is, it's not even just the gay people that are pushing this thing to abuse children. You're talking about straight people as well on the left that are working together to make the whole thing happen. It ain't just the gays. They can't do it by themselves. You got to have support from the straight folks as well. So it's a whole effort from the left as a total unit. They're all in favor of it. It ain't just the gay people that's with it. It's the straight people. A lot of them are pedophiles, touching little boys and girls. So it's deeper than just somebody being gay. Now, if somebody's gay and they're on the right and they're pushing for that, nobody's going to accept that on the right. We're not trying to abuse children. Our whole thing is about freedom. We're not trying to be bigoted towards somebody because of their sexuality. We're just trying to protect people and protect safety. It's the same thing with, wanting the border wall. Somebody may say, well, look, you want the border wall right now. What's the next step? You're going to try to deport anybody that has a Spanish last name? No, we're not bigoted towards Hispanics. All we want to have is a safe and secure border. The same thing as we want to not be bigoted towards people that happen to be gay. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to disagree with you on that point. Now, I mean, I agree with you on a lot, and I appreciate your channel. I appreciate the way you go about explaining, breaking down things for the conservatives to understand and everything. You do good at what you do,
Thank you.
So I appreciate that. But I just disagree on the point of the homosexuality. I just believe that we've seen this story happen before, and it seems to be starting within the movement, within our movement. And I mean, the best way to kill your enemies from within, not from the outside. So that I mean, I'll leave that there. But man, I'm gonna hang up and let somebody else get on here. But keep doing what you're doing, man.
Hey, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, no problem, man. Thank you.
All right, no problem. All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. All right, but yeah, this whole thing about gay people, like this is something that's happened in the past month. It was never no big deal before. Like, you hang out with people like Maya Yiannopoulos, have a good time at the Straight Pride Parade, Lucas, and it's all good. But now all of a sudden, Ross Smith is out there talking about the same things, even to a lesser degree than Milo. Now it's a problem. Now you're going to be Pastor Lucas. I like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? Just be the same. It's weird. But let me get to the next call.
Appreciate him.
Nolo King, what's happening?
Hey, man, not much. How are you?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Yeah, I was just amazed by Donald Trump Jr. on The View. Like that was amazing. The View messed up by having the guy as a guest.
that was fantastic. I mean, people were like, they were literally shaking afterwards. It was great. I mean, he was pulling stuff from left and right. And also Kim, her being on there, she did good. It was a fantastic appearance.
And that's the thing, right? Any rational person, because we're all living in two different realities. Like, you just look at this Ukraine situation. One side has their narrative, the other side has their narrative. But if you're a regular viewer of The View and all you believe is what they say, and you see how irrational they are and how calm and composed Don is, how you can verify everything he's saying, it just makes us look good. And we need more of that, quite honestly.
Oh, definitely. 100%.
Yeah. Because I'll never forget this one day. It kind of came out that I supported Trump. I was working in this really liberal restaurant, and they put me in a corner and they were grilling me, and I just answered all their questions. They were saying crazy stuff like, "Oh, Mike Pence hates women," and I said, "Why do you think he hates women?" Right? I was being very calm, and then first they started off with insults, but eventually they listened, right? Because you can't fight facts. You have to like take it in.
Oh, definitely. You can't. You gotta just hear the facts, because at a certain point, it is what it is. Some people are going to say, "Oh, I don't believe in your facts." It's like, it's not a matter of do you believe in it. It's true, and that's it.
Yeah, and these conservatives, I don't know, this whole gay thing. I know you don't want to talk about it, but unfortunately, I guess it's taken over your show. But the thing is, Trump really he's not a traditional conservative when you really think about it, right? He doesn't have that religious background, or he hasn't had the best track record with his marriages, and he's kind of a playboy. So we are the Conservative Party there has kind of turned libertarian, to be perfectly honest. And in this kind of climate, you can't go back to that conservatism. Like, I saw a documentary back when Trudeau's dad was trying to decriminalize homosexuality. People could just openly say, being gay is wrong. That was the norm. But you won't dare say that now, right? Because you're going to be accused of being homophobic, racist, whatever. So times have changed. I know it's unfortunate for a lot of Christians, but we're letting a lot of things slide, and it's just become the norm. Is it really a big deal? I know you've been saying this, and I apologize if I'm repeating the same thing, but I just feel like we should be focusing on more important issues. It's like if you run for prime minister in Canada, don't even bother trying to get rid of abortion. Don't even bother trying to get rid of unions. Like that's just it's now the standard. There's nothing. It's gonna take decades upon decades to change public opinion.
Right, exactly. And then the one thing about Trump, people kind of fail to understand is that he was necessary to happen. The old school way, the George Bushes and the Mitt Romneys, their time is over. They were not going to win anymore on a national level. To be a governor or something like that, like Jeb Bush was, sure, you can win that all day. But national, it just wasn't going to happen. Society has changed so much. The advent of technology, the cell phone has changed so many different people. Social media has changed so many different people. It's not the same anymore. People trying to go back to this old Puritanism from 1800s. It ain't going to happen. You can try to do that. You end up losing every time nationally. And then all the things that we want, all the big things, the border wall, the economy, Medicare, socialism, communism, all those things we're trying to keep away or we're trying to keep that we want, we're going to end up losing. All for what? Because you're trying to hold on to the ways of the past. It doesn't make any sense logically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. That's just the way it goes. You're going to have 8 years of the Republicans, 8 years of the Democrats. They're going to take us 10 steps back. It's just the way the cycle goes. But as usual, great talking to you, man. You're amazing. Keep up the good work, my brother.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to my man Nolo King for the call. And shout out to everybody in the chat. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Share the video, like the video, do all that good stuff. And I appreciate y'all for being here. Lucas don't want to call in because he don't want that smoke because he know that he can't hang with me in no debate. Nobody can, he just can't do it. So he'll be in the chat, hanging out. Y'all treat Lucas nice. That's my dog right there. That's my little brothers. Y'all treat my man nice. All right, let me get to the next call. Let's go to, hold on. All right, call you on the line, 617. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, man, I'm calling you this Ivan like I promised you. On September 9, the Inspector General was informed about to the House Intelligence Committee about the whistleblower. On September 11, the funds of the money was released. So pretty much 2 days after the report was done to the House Committee, the Trump administration decided to release the funds to the Ukraine. That's why I promised you that you told me like when, how, all this.
Oh, okay.
So pretty much, there's a lot of evidence that it was a quid pro. And do you listen to the last testimony from Gordon Stolen?
From who?
From Gordon Sloland, I think that's his name. Sonland.
No.
Sloan. No, you didn't listen to him. Well, you should because Trump went to spoke to reporters. He said that he didn't know the man. And he said I hardly heard from him. And he donated over $1 million for his campaign. Number one. Number two is one Trump himself appointed as an ambassador in Ukraine. That's one of the things that he got to get a natural gas deal, but that's separate. And he say himself that it was a quid pro quo. He didn't sell. He say, look, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if this is illegal, but seems to me like this is a quid pro quo.
So that's his opinion, correct?
What is incorrect?
I said that's his opinion.
Well, I don't know what you're saying. He said himself that it was a quid pro quo.
Hold on.
That's what he said.
So you said two different things. Okay, first you said, hold on. First he said it seems like it's a quid pro quo. Then he said it was a quid pro quo. So does it seem like?
Well, you mean what? Because he said that it was an exchange.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. You said two different things. First you said that he thought it seemed like it was a quid pro quo. Then you said he said it was a quid pro quo.
Okay.
Hold up. Not finished.
Now you
hold up. Wait, sir. I got to finish. Okay. I got to finish the statement. The first one would be a matter of opinion. It's just how he thinks. The second one would be a statement of facts. Which one is it?
Okay, a statement of facts because it explained why he believed it was a quid pro quo. He said, well,
so he believes it was a quid pro quo. Okay.
Won't release the funds, won't release the military aid until they find somebody on Biden. That's what he said. But he said he didn't know. He doesn't. He's not a lawyer, so he doesn't know that it's illegal. It is illegal. That's extortion. It's on the Constitution. It's illegal. That's one of many that were coming. The eight, I don't have her name. The eight from Mike Pence say, hey, she didn't hear anything about the conversation of Trump saying anything from quid pro quo. She said she didn't hear anything, but she knows that they were withholding the funds for the Ukraine. I mean the military aid. She didn't know why. So there's another combination that they hold it, and then she said it herself that it was released on September the 11th. So pretty much it's like, yo, you got Morrison that changed his statement. Morrison said first that, well, I never heard the president saying anything wrong. I don't think, and then when they started questioning him, he said, yes, it was a quid pro quo, but I don't know if this is illegal. Now they're all saying that they don't know it is illegal. It is illegal. There's no way to hide it. There's no, the Republicans could vote against it all they want. That's fine. They could not have him removed from office to lack of Democrats supporting the vote. But at the end of the day, is that it is illegal.
Okay, so
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you can have like,
right.
Okay.
So do you think
one
that,
thing? That's what I think.
Okay, so
and another thing,
look, sir, listen. Do you think that you'll have 20 Republicans that are going to jump ship and vote against Trump in the Senate to convict him on the impeachment?
No, because they want to protect their seat. I told you that last week.
So
they want to protect their seat. They don't care about the Constitution.
So what's the purpose? What's the purpose in even doing all this? What are we even doing?
Well, I mean, so that means, okay, what's the purpose? So that means another president or someone else could do the same thing and no repercussions, right? If it doesn't happen to him, what should happen to other people? If we don't convict him, right? So why we went after Clinton? Why we impeach? Why the United States Congress was going to impeach Nixon for doing something
but
illegal?
See, you've not answered the question.
Let everybody do whatever
Sir,
they want.
You've not answered the question. Since we both know that he won't get convicted, what's the purpose of even going through all of this?
Because we need to recognize when it's wrongdoing. If it's a wrong, it's like somebody. He's like, okay, we know we're not gonna charge you, so I just commit a crime and let someone else commit more crimes. No, we need to recognize that it's a wrongdoing. It has to be called out, has to be investigated, and I believe that also, Biden has to be investigated because I guess it was a violation of the law. Listening on PBS, I don't have the details with me.
Well, Biden was pretty clear what he did. He went on TV.
No, because what he says. No, that has nothing to do with
I mean, hold on, Ivan. Listen to me. He said they're not going to get the money unless they fired the prosecutor, and son of a b, they did it. He said that on TV. So how was that? How was that not important? How was what he said not important?
But I'm gonna go back to your statement. The UN wanted him fired. The IMF wanted him fired. The European Union wanted him fired. The United States Congress wanted him fired.
It don't matter. But Joe Biden went on TV and said, if you don't do it, you won't get the money. Straight up. It wasn't even no ambiguity to it. It was really straightforward. So why does what he said not matter?
Because they all wanted him fired. There was nothing.
It don't matter. You can want something to be done, but you didn't go out there. Nobody went out there and threatened him.
And the reason that this guy didn't get fired because the president at the time in Ukraine was corrupt and was protecting him. People in Ukraine wanted him fired.
It doesn't matter.
That is the reason.
The point is
that is the reason.
Let's listen to what I'm saying. You can want somebody fired all you want to. You can have the desire to see somebody get fired. But once you go to the next step of threatening somebody with money, extorting them, now you've crossed the line. You're forcing them to fire the person rather than just wanting them to be fired. Don't you see the difference?
I know what you're saying, but United States does that all the time. As long as it's not a political game, it's not illegal. Now, what Biden did illegal that he used, I don't remember the name of the act. I call you maybe later. I mean, some of the time. But he said that they used his position to put his son, and it was something illegal. The lawyer said in PBS. I can't recall it right now. But if they want, and then the question is why the Republicans don't investigate him. They say what because they could subpoena him. They could subpoena all the people from the Obama administration. The reason because they know they're in deep trouble with this situation. They in deep, they can't even think. I don't know how Barr go to sleep. I don't think he can even sleep because he's involved. He's blocking all the information from Democrats so they won't release this information for them to bring into to the hearings. Do you hear what John Bolton said?
What did he say?
Hear what he said? He said, "Hey, I will go and give my deposition as long as is the court clears me up." So pretty much Trump being threatening him with something. So Trump has something against him. So he's like, "Yo, I don't want no legal repercussions against me, but I will testify." And that's the bomb is gonna blow up.
Well,
it's gonna blow up.
At the end of the day, because I got more calls. At the end of the day, Trump not gonna be convicted. We got 4 more years.
But that doesn't mean
we got 4 more years. Hopefully, sir. Hopefully you enjoy the 4 more years.
Yeah, it's true.
Hopefully you enjoy the 4 more years, sir.
Doing the same thing. Why will prevent them from doing the
All
same
right.
thing?
But look, check it out. Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
All right.
All right. Shout out to Ivan. Ivan, he was more civil today because normally he tried to like overtalk me and all this and that. He was more civil today. So shout out to Ivan. And shout out to all the Catholics who are also Christian. Somebody didn't know they were like who didn't know that Catholics were a branch of Christianity. That's hilarious. But let me get to the next call. Let's go. Hold on. 619, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Anthony. This is Autumn.
All right, Autumn. What's going on?
Not too much. I just wanted to, for one, just a couple of things. Just want to thank you for everything that you're doing. It's not only is it powerful, it's very informing. I mean, I tune in as much as I can. We're available. It's a part of my regular list and my regular notifications on YouTube. So I just wanted to say that. And for one, it was nice to see. Thank you for your coverage of the Black Voices for Trump. And it's also reassuring that I think you mentioned earlier that there would be a continuation of activity and that this is not going to be a one-time kind of a thing. The involvement or the advocacy or, getting more Blacks involved or, making them aware of what's, going on with all the, the subvergence from the media, because they're not showing it. They're not showing what's actually happening. And in fact, I saw something, maybe the AP, maybe it's Associated Press, saying that, Trump's pitting, the Black community against immigrants. Of course, they would create that narrative that it's immigrants that he's pitting Blacks against, not illegal immigrants or illegal, aliens, however you want to, coin it. But it's nice to see that, you amongst the others are out there, getting it done. You're the foot soldiers and, there's a lot of work to be done. So I'm just hoping that we can keep it up because a lot of people are waking up. They just need to see. People are starving for truth. They need to see it. They need to hear it. And, thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm going to keep on doing it. As long as y'all supporting me out there, I'm going to keep on rocking.
Yeah. This is just another little bit of a tag here on something else, and it keeps coming up, this whole cultural kind of thing, about, is this the right image, for conservatism or, I'm not giving up my, conservative values to bring in this group of people, to welcome these people, to embrace these people. I just think that, that the left does so much to distract what's going on. I don't know if anybody, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I do think that people don't realize that that the president is fighting so many forces. I do believe that the UN agenda is very, to me, they basically dictate what the left wants. If you go to the UN Agenda 2030 or even go to their page, everything that the left talks about is there. It's there for everybody to see. If they want to see it, it's right there. There's no mystery about where their ideas come from, about what type of world they want, what type of government. They want to change the society. They want to change the government. They want all the chaos to basically divert everyone's attention from what they're actually doing. Every day, we become a little bit more socialist. We become a little bit less familiar than yesterday. Even in Europe, I cannot get a reliable source for American news about actually what's going on, because it's all, hate Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump. It's the same. It's the globalists. They want what we had before. They want what we had with Obama and before. I just think people are missing the big picture, and all the cannibalism is not going to help anything. It's just going to keep distracting. The ballot box, we can't reach the ballot box. We're still pretty far away from, to me, every day, it feels like we're further and further away from the ballot box. When people start getting into these little conflicts, these little chaoses, I think there's a lot more that unite us as Americans than, what's happening behind closed doors in somebody's, personal life, their sexual orientations. The left is good at that. They're good at that. And that's also a part of what's destroying them. That's the reason that they can't they don't have anything to come to the table with, because that's, they've been driven by that. They've used that so long that the projection for each of these little groups, it just destroys them. It has basically turned, it's desensitized. It's desensitizing people in many ways on the left.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was a lot, but thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Thank you, and have a great night.
All right, same to you now.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate it. And you guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Shout out to the super chatters. Shout out to, who do we have? Well, I know I'm butchering your name, and I'm sorry. Osama Abdul, who says, ABL, did you play any sports in high school? I didn't play like on the teams in high school. I was a basketball guy. I was always play basketball, like running neighborhoods. They wanted me to play football, but the team at the time I was there, they were so bad. 0-10. I wasn't trying to get injured. I was trying to focus on academics. But I could have played football easily. Like when I was 14, I was already 6 foot, 240 pounds. I look the same as I do right now at age 14, pretty much. And I'm a little bit taller than I was back then, but I was a big kid. So football, I could have done that, but I wasn't trying to get injured. My friend was on the team. He was my size. This dude walking around in crutches. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Because when you're on a bad team like that, it's easy to get injured and concussions and whatever. I was like, nah, I'm straight. But and the basketball team was crazy. I was not good enough to be on the basketball team, but I could have played football with no problem. I used to just play basketball in the neighborhood. But shout out to Hassel, I'm not going to say it the correct way, who says, good show, ABL, and Epstein didn't kill himself. Thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. And shout out to Zarbon for your donation. I definitely appreciate you as well. Let me get to my next call. And the lines are jumping, so I'm going to try to get to everybody as soon as I can. Y'all just hang tight. Let's go. All right. 580, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Grace Kelly from Oklahoma. How are you doing tonight?
Everything's good. Can't complain. How about yourself?
Doing well. Hey, I know you did. You're on top of everything. Did you see The View when they were screaming at Don Jr.?
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, it was like he came in there and was just swinging for the fences, and they couldn't handle it. It was a glorious thing to see.
What blows my mind is the fact that the only thing that they can bring up is like, he's not nice. He's hurt people. Well, how has he hurt people? Well, he made, that gesture that they say made fun of disabled people and they can't name any one thing. Yet Don Jr. sat there and he called them out, Joy Behar. She about dropped her teeth when he called her out on blackface and Whoopi, it's not rape. And this is the thing. I had a conversation the other night. I finally got my son to listen to you, Miracle.
Yes.
Then we were able to have a conversation because he just views me as, way leaning right. So after he listened to you, we were able to have a conversation, which I thank you for that. And he said, well, is there anyone out there that could just give Trump some feedback that you don't say everything you want to say, be presidential. And I thought about that for a few days, and I have an answer for that finally. We would not be seeing any of these tweets or these, kind of name calling that we see if he was not being attacked on a constant basis.
That's right. Because at a certain point, the way that Trump has to be, because if it wasn't, then we couldn't get anything done. We couldn't get anything accomplished. They're constantly making up fake stories, lying. And, one thing about him is that if he attacks, you best believe, he got attacked first. That's usually what it is. And also with the Twitter thing, nobody can misrepresent what he says. They'll try to. Like, I've seen CNN literally edit a tweet on air. Like, they wouldn't even show the full tweet. But see, the American people, we have our phones. We're able to go straight to his Twitter and read it for ourselves. So it reduces the amount of fake news that's out there because you get it right there on the Twitter.
Absolutely. Last night this squirrel fell down in my chimney and was in my freestanding fireplace, and it was screaming and all this stuff. It was crazy. So I had to have it removed. And as this squirrel just screamed and yelled, and I didn't know squirrels scream and yell. I had no clue. But yet it was being attacked and it was being trapped and it was in survival mode. And I view him many days as in survival mode.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and the thing about it is I'm glad that he's here because I think about it like this. What if he were just to get a Jeb Bush in there? I mean, he'd just be doing whatever he's told. It's like, all right, Jeb, here's your itinerary for the day. We're going to talk about this, talk about that. You're not going to really lead from the front. You're going to lead from behind. You're just a figurehead. But Trump's actually out there leading. They did not anticipate that. They wanted another Barack Obama or George Bush who would just get handed a stack of papers, and that'd be what they do, rather than the guy that actually takes the role of the presidency seriously and leads from the front.
Absolutely. And the truth is, everybody hates Trump, but what they hate is what he stands for, and that is a 100% free country.
That's right.
Freedom of speech. I mean, I cannot believe that your video was made private. I heard that this morning, and I'm just like, who do we talk to? Who?
I mean, I can get on TV sometimes and have a decent platform. I'm able to say it, and that's all I could really do. And I think those of us that are against this kind of thing, we can just all speak out against it. That's the main thing that can really happen. Aside from that, there's not a whole lot that can be done. I'm not really sure if there can be any kind of laws passed. I'm not really sure how that's going to work. But the main thing is just getting the word out there, because a lot of these places, social media companies, they respond to any kind of negative PR. That's what they really respond to the most until we get any kind of laws passed, which may or may not be the solution.
Well, and someone like you and I, just this regular person who, thank goodness you have a platform. You can't, if you were to sue them, who has the deeper pocket?
That's right. I mean, I have nowhere near the amount of money that Twitter or Facebook, they could just, have lawyers and throw money at it, and then I got to pretty much just fold. So, that's not even really an option for me, quite honestly. I think the best thing for me would be to get the publicity out there, get the word out there, and then see how we can, take it from there rather than trying to go to the legal route. And hopefully something can be done on a bigger level that's bigger than I.
That's right. And my last thing is, I'm frustrated because I don't believe the whistleblower is a whistleblower. He does not fit the description.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a spy,
right? That's what I'm saying. Okay, well, I want to thank you. Were you a teacher? Did I hear you say you were a teacher or in
No.
education?
No, my grandparents were teachers, but I was not a teacher.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm like, because you do a good job. You teach well on your platform.
Well, thank
Last
you.
thing I'm going to say, my byline, time and truth walk hand in hand.
All righty. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate her. And you guys on the drill, the number to call is 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. The lines are open to everybody that want to call in. So if you got something on your chest, you want to be a troll, whatever it is, call on up. We get her done. All righty. Have I ever seen a squirrel? Come on. Like, of course, we live in America. We got squirrels everywhere. Shout out to all the squirrels. Okay. 972, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's Christy in Texas. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Doing good. Great show tonight. A lot of great calls. Poor Ivan, whatever his name is. Just read the transcript.
Exactly. Just read it. It's all right there, black and white.
Right. And I was calling, too. A lot of great conversation going on tonight as far as the gay community. And I kind of think we tend to forget, too, and maybe try to lump everybody in the same category. But in your opinion, because several gays that I've talked to have also said that they think the gay movement has been hijacked by the transgender community.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's gotten kind of poisoned. And, you know, I think maybe some of us are lumping them into all that maybe same category. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm fighting a cold. But, you know, but yeah, I definitely think it, like you said, it takes all of us. You know, we can't be excluding anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you 100%. And my friend Rod Smith says that he's talking about the T's and the LGBT. They're taking the whole thing to a whole different level. They're doing weird stuff. You know, it's just like with any kind of interest group or whatever kind of group they want to call it. You got some people in there that's going to take it to a whole different level and make the entire group look bad. So
exactly.
That's what that is.
Well, yes, definitely. Well, keep up the good work. I love your videos and what y'all are doing, and look forward to the future.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Same to you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller, and you guys know what time it is. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Shout out to all the squirrels. Y'all look crazy in the chat. All right. But yeah, you know, I don't have too many. You know, I had a few people in the chat. Was it Coach Alpha? I forget your full name, boss, so forgive me. But I remember the first part. Call on in, man. You know, it's all good. All right, let me get to my next call here, though. All right, Jordan, what's going on?
Hey, ABL, can you hear me?
I hear you well.
All right. Yeah, I just saw your voice kind of cracked out for a moment there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, gee, what was the first thing I'm talking about? The Kentucky elections. My fellow libertarians might have screwed that one up. Just might. Because it was a narrow loss.
Yeah.
And there were 28,000 people who voted libertarian. Imagine if maybe a portion of those went to the fellow right, they could have gotten the mayoral seat. But there's a silver lining with that. Danielle Cameron, the Attorney General, Republican, black, first person of color, and first Republican elected since 1952 as Kentucky's Attorney General.
Yeah, I met him yesterday in Atlanta. Super nice guy, charismatic, all that good stuff. He'll go far. He's a star. I could tell just by talking to him for a brief moment. He's definitely a star already.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I need to ask, what are your thoughts on Dan Crenshaw and his huge support of Israel? Because I don't know, it's his huge support of Israel kind of makes me feel like he's not really America first in a way. If he's going to endorse statements like America wouldn't be, America wouldn't exist without Israel. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know a lot about Dan Crenshaw's stance on Israel, so it's hard for me to answer that because I've been hearing a little bit about that, but I don't really know a lot about that. So I don't really know the full context of the situation, so I can't really answer.
Ah, understandable. And about the Donald Trump Jr.'s appearance in The View, this is just another episode of It's Okay When the Left Does It. It's another thing because I don't like The View pretty much because the hosts are five screeching banshees and a guest that sometimes is rational, sometimes isn't. That's really what it's all about. And yeah, I'm getting real sick of this whole it's all for me, but not for thee attitude that the left has been adopting for quite some time now. Like there was an article back a couple of years ago that said that men should not have the right to deny trans people who dress as women when they ask them to ask for a date or ask for a relationship or something like that.
Hold on, what happened? You said that. Give me two one more time.
Hold on, let me pull it up. Let me pull up one question.
So men couldn't, they can't ask them to dress differently.
Hold up, give me 1 second. I know I'm going to waste some time, but it'll be worth it.
Okay, I got to hear this one because it's kind of wild already.
Let me just pull this up right quick. Okay, I got it. Transgender activist says men have no right to refuse sex with men dressed as women.
Oh wow, that's called rape at the end of the day.
That is.
That's literally rape. If you say if somebody requests sex and you can't say no, that's rape. It's already a law against that. So whoever said that, no, there's already a law against that. We're not going to be trying to, that's not how this works.
Yeah, pretty much. But hey, I mean, he's a leftist, so they'll fine with it.
Yeah, apparently.
I got one more thing. I know I'm being boring right now, but I don't know. Today's not my best day.
That's all good.
I have a bone to pick with Rob Smith.
Uh-oh.
And it's not about what you think it is.
Okay.
Have you seen his Twitter feed?
Well, I don't see his Twitter feed. I see his Instagram. So what's going on Twitter?
Here's one example, and it's making me very worrisome. I'm not that familiar with the event because I didn't focus on it in late October, but here's what it is. On October 29th, he said, "Tonight, a bunch of alt-right white supremacist racists infiltrated the TPUSA Culture War event. That was wild. Take note of all these people when you see that they're not what this movement is about and should be called out like the scum they are." I have a bit of a problem with that. I really have much of a problem with what Rob Smith said at the event, so much so as because I don't want to talk about that. I know you probably tired of talking about it. I'll have somebody else talk about it, but this sounds like something an SJW would say, calling people this who are critical of Rob Smith, and it pushes my buttons a little.
Okay, but I'm gonna defend Rob right here because, all right, what if you're in a situation, you're on stage, and people are coming up to you talking about how does anal sex help win the culture war? Why would somebody say that to you? And then you're getting attacked on your Twitter feed for being black, being a token, you're the black gay friend and stuff like that. And it comes out of nowhere. You've never even seen this before. Because, Rob and Charlie, they go to these events all the time, and they've never seen this kind of behavior before. I know Rob, and I know Charlie, and they go to these events, and they don't get these kind of weird questions like that. This is something that's brand new because of that guy that's against Charlie Kirk and wants to be him. He's envious of him, so he wants to destroy him since he can't be next to him or be him. So this is a new thing you're experiencing. So how would you feel if you all of a sudden one day you're being called a black token? How does anal? You don't talk about sex positions, but they keep bringing up sex positions, and it's over and over and over again. Not only at the event, but also when you get back on your Instagram and your Twitter and stuff like that. What would you think? What would you say? How would you feel?
How would I feel? Well, I wouldn't call them what Rob.
But how would you feel? Is the question.
I would feel kind of sad. I mean, Me personally, I have endurance. Being called Token and Uncle Tom and all that stuff is something I'm really used to. I would know that it's ridiculous. I would probably be indifferent about it.
But see, the main thing is this though. These people are passing themselves off as conservatives, as Trump supporters. You wouldn't expect that people that are on the right to call you, a token and be making jokes about your race and all kind of stuff like that. You wouldn't expect that from them. You would expect them to be not like the left. So when you get a lot of like leftist, abuse at you at an event that you have never gotten before, you like, who are these people? What's going on here?
Well, yeah, that's understandable. Like when I heard the questions, there were the type of questions phrased as though someone on 4chan say them, instead of being pretty serious about it. I understand that. I think Twitter's a different story, though. That's probably just me. But if you're confronting someone and they address that to you, I would understand.
Yeah,
that's my stand.
Yeah, I mean, that's all that it is. I mean, yeah, these people are just really, at the end of the day, I'm gonna close it up. It all stems from envy of Charlie Kirk. That's it. That's Rob can be gay, he can be straight, he can be white, he can be black. It don't matter. They're gonna attack him regardless because he's next to Charlie Kirk. The person that's attacking Charlie wants to be Charlie. He wants to be on stage talking to all these people. He wants to be in that position, but since he can't be next to him, since he can't get any kind of attention with him in a legitimate way, since he can't get the following that he has, since he can't get the money that he has, all he can do is try to attack him. This is what it's called envy. You try to destroy that person because you can't be them. He would love to be where Charlie is at, but he can't be there. That's all that it is.
All right. I got one more question and then I'll head out. What are your thoughts on Nick Fuentes and what are your thoughts on him in general? Because he's been commenting on this whole thing and he feels like he's the one being attacked, even though they're not mentioning his name because Ben Shapiro's talking about the alt-right a lot. Have you seen his commentary about it or anything?
Everything I just said is talking about him. That's all. It's jealousy. It's envy because, it's not about this morality thing. If it was about morality and stuff like that, then he wouldn't be friends with Milo Yiannopoulos. He just did a video like the other day promoting Milo on the website where he is at, where they're on there talking with Gavin McInnes. So it was like, all right, you against all this, debauchery, this, that, and the third. But this guy Milo dresses in drag. This guy Milo had a tour called the Dangerous F-Word Slang for a Gay Person Tour. Yeah. He got brought out on a throne by a bunch of guys in MAGA hats with his makeup and a lipstick. Black people. Yeah, a bunch of black people. He's married. He's married to a gay black man. He speaks about his gay sex acts, unlike Rob Smith, in a very graphic way. He's done all that. But that's your man. That's your friend, right? Okay. But you want to attack Rob Smith? It's nothing to do with Rob. Rob is just an innocent bystander. He's just catching stray bullets. It's all about Charlie at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll chill out here because I wasn't that familiar with all of this. But yeah, thanks for your input.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Not a problem. Peace.
Peace. All right. Hopefully that explains it because I don't want to talk about that too much no more. Because when you talk about stuff like that, it continues it. Ben Shapiro had a great speech, and I felt like it was needed, but it kind of continued it. If not for the Ben Shapiro speech, this might be kind of a dead topic already, like I said last week. Milo has a tour, the Dangerous F-Word. He goes out with gay flag shirts, talks about gay sex acts, married to a gay black man. That's his whole thing. Queen Milo, all this, that, and the third. Come on. If you say that Milo was not pushing homosexuality, but Rob Smith is, then it just don't make no sense. I'm not saying that either one of them is pushing it, but if Rob is, how can you say Milo isn't just based on those same standards? The logic just ain't there. But let me get to the next call, but I'm done with that topic. Okay, let's go. 702, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Mark.
Mark, what's happening?
Hey, nothing much. I enjoyed the Black Voices thing. Hopefully some votes will switch. I'm enjoying the MAGA challenge. It reminds me of old school hip hop. I don't listen to rap anymore, but it's fun to listen to the people,
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and I think I'd be down for a book if you ever write one. If you ever set like a date and said, hey, pre-order on Amazon, I prefer paperback. If it was like 200 pages, and I don't know how many of you list any stories you have to tell, if you even had like 10 stories and assembled them, I would pre-order it probably, just FYI.
Oh yeah, I definitely, I got a lot of stories that I've not told yet, that people that I might need to talk to some family members, get some permission. I talked to my dad actually some years ago, and because it's a lot of stuff on that side of the family I could talk about. He gave me the green light, so yeah, I may need to do that for sure. Next year, I think I'm gonna do that.
Right on. Yeah, if you could even get with your dad and maybe a group of friends and share some stories, jot down like a list of 10 or a dozen, however many pages per story, wrap up by like 200-page paperback. Like I like that kind of stuff. For me, like I'm a book person.
Right, no doubt.
Yeah, and as for what else? Oh yeah, if Samuel Jackson ever retires, don't you think Dan Crenshaw would make an awesome Nick Fury?
Yeah, he would. I mean, he'd be perfect. Already got the eye patch. Already got the military experience. Put him right in there. He'd be a perfect fit.
Yeah. He's a scary dude. He's a solid dude. He looks amazing. He looks like he could rip somebody's head off. I mean, he's busting out of his gear. And, I saw him get confronted. The thing is with Crenshaw and Shapiro and Rob Smith and a lot of these people, they have a never Trump track record.
Oh, but you know what? That's kind of common as far as people that are on the right nowadays, because, I mean, I'll put it to you like this. I get a lot of emails from people. I get people that send me letters in the mail, like physical, actual handwritten letters. And a lot of them say the same thing. I hated Trump when he got elected. I hated Trump in 2018. And thanks to you, I was able to see the light. I was able to change. I mean, I was a liberal myself up until 2012, 2011, that time. So, I mean, the same thing could be said about me. They said, oh, well, a few years ago, you were racist towards white people. You said that they come from caves and they smell like dogs, all this, that, and the third. And you said that they're doomed to hell. I mean, I was a lost person at one point in my life, but I found my way. And I think that people should be able to have that ability to change their heart and change their mind. I'm on here with the purpose of trying to do that. So if people are coming to me and say, hey, you helped to change me, you helped to change my father, my mother, my brother, my sister, how am I going to say, oh, I don't believe you? My whole purpose is to do that. And these are regular normies that don't have any kind of dog in the fight as far as any kind of political aspirations are concerned.
See, this is the problem. It's a great point you make. The problem is I trust the normies when they say that. I don't know if I trust the big personalities. But the normies, you make a great point, because I hated Trump about 10 years ago. And then when I was driving, I listened to a lot of books on tape, and I really got into Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I was a big fan of Robert Kiyosaki. And then he did a book with Trump called Why We Want You to Be Rich. And after that, I listened to all of Trump's books on tape, and I started becoming a fan of Trump just because he was a good storyteller. And so I can definitely believe the normie when they say, I hated Trump and now I like Trump. Because when I first saw Trump, he was like falling off of buildings in commercials, and he was landing in dumpsters, and his wig was falling off. And I'm like, this guy is a dork, and he's an attention whore. But I read some book by Robert Ringer, and there's one called Looking Out for Number One. There's another one that mentions being a millionaire, but it's just self-help stuff. But he mentions Donald Trump being an inspiration for him, and the book was written in 1980.
Wow.
And so I mean that's more than most of us have been born. And he was already a hugely influential figure then. Also, I agree with your point that you make that, yes, every vote does count, but is anybody doing the math? Because for every vote we gain from some lunatic fringe, how many do we lose, if any at all? I know there is nowhere to go right now, and that's the point your other callers are making. Without Trump, there is no one else. We're on the verge of being California. A lot of states are flipping, and everybody is a target. So of course he should make those comments, because because once you have one party in power, they are the only target. At that point, what are people really going to want? They're just going to want to see anyone in the power system take a fall. That's all they're going to want is heads falling and heads rolling. You know what I mean?
That's right, 100%.
Yeah. So I liked what Junior did was go up there and just like lay waste to Behar and Whoopi. And one thing I have to say to Ivan is I'm not going to mention the whistleblower's name. He looks a lot like Aaron Schwartz, by the way, the hacker that was killed in the past. But I would just want to know, Ivan, do you know that the lawyer for this fake whistleblower number one that you're talking about is some kind of like Podesta pedo Disney girl fan? Do you want to be associated with that, Ivan? You know what I mean?
That's right. Not only because I saw that whole thing, I put that in my video about his watch history on YouTube. He also went to Disney Land or World by himself and took selfies with the characters. Just like, all right, you a grown man, got to be in your 40s. Disney World by yourself. You're looking at some questionable Disney stuff on YouTube. And he also had a comment on YouTube talking about he helped guys with sex crime charges get security clearances. I'm like, oh, okay, who is this guy really? I mean, you talking about some Epstein connection possibly? Who knows?
Yes, that's correct. Epstein connections. And he also had like a tweet that said, I've helped people with child convictions get off. And it's like, that. What kind of a disgusting tweet is that? That's some sick that's an admission,
That's right.
That's almost like Hillary going, I brag, I got a rapist off or something like that. And I hear that all the time, oh, this guy beat a murder rap. They brag about it, it's like hardy har, look what a bad boy I am. I understand that point of view, but that's just not where I'm at anymore. You know what I mean? When you're on the streets, that's like some cool swagger stuff, like look at me get away with this stuff. But after a while, when the entire culture becomes thug life, pimp and hoe, die over a Popeye's chicken sandwich, like you get sick of it real quick, you know what I mean?
That's right. I'm with you.
Yeah. And then the last point I have to make is Jordan has a great point about the trans thing. There was a trans that threatened Ben Shapiro. Oh, I'll probably make one thing about Ben Shapiro, but a trans was really uppity and had the nerve to threaten Ben Shapiro on TV on Bill Maher's show.
You know who that was? That was Bob Turd. That's Katie Turd's dad.
Who? Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
Yep.
I'm shocked. I didn't know that at all. And Katie Tur is kind of cute. Like, wow, what a freak.
Bob Turd, hold on. Bob Turd was one of the guys that flew the helicopters in the OJ case, chasing the white Bronco.
Wow. I guess I missed OJ in a restaurant the other day. I heard he was making a lot of noise at the new restaurant over here, a new True Food Kitchen.
Ah, wow.
Yeah, he was in there making a lot of noise, drawing a lot of attention. I would only have one question for OJ. I heard the Lady Boys were his private security in prison, and I want to know if that's true, if the Pinkos were like, no, you won't touch OJ, and throwing cat claws at the assailants,
Hilarious.
Yeah, and then there was another trans that hit on the Genuine who sang that My Pony song. I used to like that. I thought the dude was cool at the time. And I guess some trans hit on him aggressively and stuff too. And like a lot of these people hide behind the trans thing to commit sexual assault, and then they're like, no, I'm a victim. It's kind of like that person that said wax my huevos, you know what I mean?
That's right.
And this is a very, very weird kind of floppy aggression that's going on these days,
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, and we also, I got to say that the conservatives, I just really wonder the direction. It's very clear the direction is going to trans and then further perversion, because one country makes the hormones for trans people. We all know that Ben Shapiro, what he's saying today, is a lie. He will capitulate tomorrow. That's like my theory. We don't have to argue about it. We can disagree. But because of the trans hormones being manufactured by somebody's home country, I don't believe Ben Shapiro when he tells me that he's against, chemically castrating children.
Well, because we got to see about that one.
Yeah. And, thanks for your time. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, take care. Bye.
All right, thank you to my man Mark for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And you guys on the drill, the number to call is 434-658-1220. The lines are jumping. I'm going to try to get everybody on as soon as I can. Y'all just hang tight. And I'm going to try to get you on ASAP. Y'all just hang in there. Okay, let's go to... All right, calling you on the line, 737. Who am I speaking to?
All right, this is Luciano from Texas, as always. So what do I got going? So I want to talk about, this really isn't related to current events, but I will give my coming out, maybe. Shoot. Not you. Saying that to my little brother. He had to come in the middle of my call. Can you hear me?
I hear you well, man. What's going on?
All right, sorry. I'm trying to privatize my room in the middle of the call. All right. So, I saw a video earlier. You heard the word incel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's called What Incels Can Do. What can incels do? Those who really want to improve, blah, blah, blah. And I will say one thing. We live in a superficial and an identitarian society. And the one thing I got to say is I'm tired of social issues being made more emotionally charged than what they are. We're monetizing social issues for nothing. Have you noticed that?
Well, explain that a little bit for me.
Sure. We platformatize so many social issues to the point it's all about the give me more mentality. And we add more emotional undertones to social issues more so than what they require. Now, what does that have to do with the incel situation? Well, I think a lot of incels are suffering more so than normies, and as a result, because they don't have any platform to abide by. Sure, they have communities, but they don't have a platform. Like, they don't have a way to scheme money or awareness. So they have to act out under rebellion. Whereas the normies, if you're a normie, but it's specifically more so of an oppressed category, then yeah, you can have everything you want. I mean, you can have attention, you can have quotas from both the law and other institutions, So I do think the monetization of social issues is going to only make the divide between us only worse. Agree or disagree?
Well, I mean, I think I see where you're coming from. I think one part of it is that you want to help people with their situation, and sometimes that can create monetization because I mean these efforts cost if you're going to spend time on it. But on the other end, if you kind of prop it up as a thing, people may kind of become more enabled in it and be less likely to stop. Maybe that's what you're saying.
And yeah, I hate how, like I said, I hate how social issues are still made more emotionally charged than what they are. How is, for example, racism, and I can understand why it has such an emotional undertone because it's systemic. Yeah, but like, how is racism made more emotionally charged than, say, terrorism or, just your ordinary crime? We've got to realize, as much as I don't support racism, I can understand why it exists. In fact, the way I see racism, it's really just reframed tribalism, if you think about it. Reframed meaning that it's kind of like a more social political form of what you would call, tribalism of kingdoms and whatnot. I mean, the KKK is kind of like the first clan to be recognized in the modern world. Besides that, there was really no clans in the Middle Ages or anything like that. But you get the point. We made it to the point where racism is more about the platformization. It's not really so much about, it's not so much about advocacy.
I see what you're saying. That makes sense.
And the whole Popeyes situation, what's got me thinking is that, what's funny? We're raising climate change and environmental awareness, and retail's dying, but people are becoming more consumerist. What does that tell you? Especially in poor and minority communities. I noticed that the consumerism culture is only becoming more shoved down our faces again for the first time in probably 20 years. What does that tell you?
Well, maybe they're trying to boost the economy, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's all getting. I think it's also getting about the monetization because, I mean, let's be real. Why would anyone be killing themselves or killing others over a chicken sandwich?
You know,
right?
I got an answer to that. Like, some of these areas, these low income, these hood areas, these ghetto areas, people get killed over anything. It's not even about the sandwich as much as it is about just the mentality in these areas where they feel like you get disrespected and you want to fight, and then you instantly go to a weapon and there's no thought process. It's brainless actions. I've seen it happen all the time. I've seen people get shot, killed over a girl, not even like a wife, just like a girlfriend in high school. I done seen so much stuff like that. So it's not even surprising when you put these types of situations, like when you put this sandwich, all the social media attention behind it. It's easy. People get killed over Instagram posts, over anything when there's no real brain power behind your action, where there's no culture that says, hey, you know what, it might not be a good idea to do, or it might not be that serious to even get into a discussion or argument about.
But then again, that still kind of goes with the consumerism. Or no, put it this way: it's not consumerism that's trying to dismantle us as a nation. It's what do you call hedonism? There we go. Did I say that right?
Hedonism.
Yes, hedonism. It's a driving force. I noticed behind a lot of the platformatization of normies, and it can be whatever reason: economical, fiscal, political, religious. Hedonism is like the new ambition, and it's sad. I mean, we almost have no, because we almost have it in this comfort zone, and people now want everything their way so bad that they'll be like, oh, if I don't get this, well, shit, I apologize for cussing, but people don't get something, they're gonna act like it's the end of the world for them, and now people have become so accustomed to, deriving themselves based off hedonism. And
I'm with you. I'm gonna cut you off here, but I got a lot of calls on the line. I'm gonna try to get to a few more. So I thank you for the call, man. I definitely appreciate you.
Of course, anytime.
All right, now appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, shout out to the caller. Let me get to the next one here. 734, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 734, you're on the line. All right, evening. Who am I speaking to?
This is Kevin.
All righty, Kevin, what's going on?
Wanted to give you some prompts. You got almost as many people on here as Officer Tatum did last night. I love your podcast. I love what you're doing. Sometime when you're bored, if you could check mine out on YouTube, Decision 2020, I would love your feedback, because every morning I have coffee with Jesus. He tells me that wise man will seek wise counsel. Because I got a confession. Even though I do have a Trump podcast, it's basically Christian views with no fake news. Because I was into conspiracies 20 years ago. Rush Limbaugh and I started out at the same time. And when I was doing this, Clinton was president. So thank you, Jesus. I never had a shortage of material because it was on world indices and conspiracies. I'd spend about 5 minutes on what was driving the markets around the world. And then I would talk about the garbage he was doing. Today's was on what Soros is doing. Have you ever done any programs on him?
Not really. Not specifically on George Soros.
Okay. Sometime when you get 5-10 minutes of windshield time, if you could give me a call, I would love to chat with you and pick your brain, because you're an extremely intelligent individual. I didn't like Trump. The guy I was going to campaign for 24/7 dropped out. And I'm like, wow, why did that happen? Okay, God, you had to be behind this. And then when Ben Carson, the most intelligent man on earth, said, I'm going to endorse Trump, Trump had my vote. Because I was listening to fake news. I didn't have a high liking of Donald Trump, a high opinion. I'm getting older too. I'm 62, so we have these brain farts regularly, as you're aware of. Now, I did love you until tonight. Now, I hate you. When I heard you were at the rally, because I've heard every rally Trump has done since he announced his re-election down in Florida, all right? And I think yesterday's the event you was at, it probably was because Ben Carson was there. I love Pence, don't get me wrong. He's born-again, spirit-filled Christian, his wife volunteers and so forth. But Ben Carson you smell something stinking in there, it was him, because he's a shit, all right? I love Ben Carson. My dream ticket would have been Ben Carson and Colin Powell. All right, because Colin Powell was no token general. Colin Powell was a military strategic genius. He made Patton look like a retard. And he saved our country, and he saved hundreds of thousands of soldiers, Colin Powell did. But I don't think we can get – I think he's too comfortable. He can't retire because that oath is forever. You follow me?
Yes.
Yeah, but that's who my dream ticket would have been. So now I've been starting to promote Owens and Trump, because Trump's got a daughter that if she was the vice president and Candace Owens was our president, I think we'd still be on the right track for quite a while. I'm going to hog up all your airtime, but if you could check me out there, I would sure appreciate it, because I do want your input. You and I are going after – I'm going after 80% a different crowd, but I got 20% of the same crowd you're healing and administering to. Okay, and I love what you do. And up until tonight, I'll hate you till tomorrow, because you got to go to that rally. That is by far the best rally that Trump has put on. And I'm sure it's because Ben Carson was there. But then he brought that pastor up that, in my opinion, is just as anointed as brother T.D. Jakes is any day of the week. You follow me?
That's right.
Did you get a chance to talk with him at all?
No, I didn't. There was so many people there. I couldn't talk to everybody, but I was just glad to even be in the presence of everybody, and those I got to speak to, I was really grateful. So it was a great event.
Oh wow, it was the best rally Trump's done to date. So that's why I hate you. But I love you tomorrow. I'll be watching you get tomorrow. You do a great job. I'm going to get off here. If sometime in the next week or so you get to that and could give me a holler, I would be more blessed than I have proper grasp of the Queen's English to share with you.
All right, now. Well, thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you. Hey, email me your YouTube link so I can check you out, man.
Okay. I'll have to have my girl see if she can do that, or I'll just put it up there right now real quick. And because I got three, I said that to Tatum last night, and I got 3 new followers. So, like I said, it's about a 20% rollover, but I need some coaching from a good teacher. I just didn't talk to you as Tatum. I got nothing but love for him too.
Gotcha.
But I like you a bunch. So congratulations on getting out there to that event. That's going to be something you'll never forget.
That's right. Absolutely. 100%. And thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
Hey, you be blessed. And I'm going to start praying for you, put you on my prayer list, because I know you're under attack.
Well, I definitely appreciate it, because we all need it.
Hey, you be blessed, brother, and keep up the wonderful work.
All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And I see the viewer in the chat who says, run for office. Hey, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I get that a lot, and I may do that. But please stop spamming, please. But I thank you for your very kind words. I appreciate it. All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you're in here and you've not liked the video yet, please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. That'll help me out tremendously. But let me get to my next call. All right, hold on. Nipin, what's happening?
Oh, not much.
All right, man.
How did he win?
How did who win? The
person who is now going to be the governor of Kentucky. It baffles me that a Democrat has won an election in deep red Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's some there's some questions about how that happened. They say it could be some fraud going on. Who knows? It's really.
I'm sorry. Even if it's some sort of fraud, you can't fraud your way into an office. Even if it's like in Kentucky.
I mean, like I'm seeing
that is heavily dependent on coal.
I'm gonna tell you what. When I was at the event yesterday, people were saying that people voted up and down the ticket for Republicans and then got to the governor and switched Democrats, like 100,000 of them. So obviously something ain't right, something's going on, and they may need to do some investigation to see what happened. If you vote all full ticket Republican and switch at the governor, something's wrong. So we're going to see what happened.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, the election's done. He's going to become the governor, whether we like it or not.
I mean, that's not necessarily the case. It could be a review. It could be appealed. I mean, there's things that could happen after an election. If there was any kind of improprieties going on, that can be proven. If they launch, if they investigate it and there was something going on that shouldn't be, it can be overturned.
We can hope, but it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely see.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen, though. I honestly think he'll be sworn in, and we're going to have to deal with it.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the positive part is that they have a Republican-controlled government in the state.
I mean, wait, how? You have a soon-to-be Democratic governor, and yet how?
I mean, the state government, like the local government, like the state, like you got the attorney general just got elected, like the state, like in Virginia, you have the Democrat state government and Democrats in the governor, vice governor, and attorney general.
Yeah. And speaking of, and apparently I was on another Discord to do with politics, and they say Kentucky have more registered Democrats than they do Republicans.
I'm not sure if that's true or not. I'd like to see some information about that.
Yeah. But even if that's the case, they'll probably be the Democrats who'll vote Republican.
Yeah, possibly so. Because the thing about registering Democrat or Republican, that's not like that in every state. You know, like where I live, you don't have to do that. You can just register to vote and that's it.
What? You don't have to be registered with a political party?
No.
So, like, you can register yourself as an independent,
as no party. Like there's no party. You could just register to vote and that's it. You don't have to put down your party. You could just say I registered to vote.
If you, I don't think I've ever asked you this, but like, if you ever run for office, would it be as an independent or a Republican?
Probably Republican, because I got the best chance of being able to win. You see, the thing about it, in Kentucky, you had the independent guy, the libertarian, who ran, who might have actually been the spoiler if the election holds up, because he wasn't going to win. He had no chance, but he took a lot of votes that probably could have gone to the Republican.
Yeah, like I said, we can hope, but I don't think that will be the case.
Well, as far as what?
As far as overturning an election.
Oh, well, I understand that, but I'm saying, like, the libertarian, like, let's say it's just going to be what it is. The libertarian took, like, I think 26,000 votes or something. That could have gone to the Republican rather than to the libertarian, which might have caused the election to go the wrong way.
Yeah. Anyway, your video was made private.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but this is just becoming. This is becoming an online dictatorship.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, but you know, like YouTube is just really not transparent when it comes to certain things. They're just trying to protect the quote unquote whistleblower, and I feel like this is going to ramp up once you get closer to the election. Be a lot of things that come out, a lot of news that comes out, and they're gonna be trying to regulate certain things from being. And I think a lot of this is on social media, is their fault, but it's also due to the climate that the politicians are creating. They're talking about, oh, it's not legal to put that out there, so people don't want to get in trouble legally. At the same time, they want to be able to protect their particular political favorites. So it gets kind of weird. I think the main thing is that the politicians we have in office are pushing this. The left, of course.
Oh God, the left. I mean, the thing is, I have no problem with liberals or even people on the left. It's just that I have problem with people who are completely intolerant of what other people think, which is unfortunately what a lot of people on the left are.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get it twisted. If there are a lot of people on the right who are also intolerant, I will call them out as well.
That's right.
I mean, I'm not biased. I will call people out for who they are.
Absolutely.
I mean, you get racists on both sides. You get racists on the left and racists on the right.
But definitely much more on the left.
That is true. But yeah. And then Ben Shapiro's speech. What of it?
It was a long speech, so I can't really break it down in a short period of time.
Yeah, I'll watch it and then we'll talk about it next Saturday. Yeah. Black voices for Trump. Thank God people are waking up now.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it was a great event, and we're going to do much more. This was the launch event for that, so we're going to do a lot, and the purpose is to get more black folks on the side of voting conservative, voting Republican. That's the point, and we're going to go different communities and just make it happen. So it was a great kickoff event, and it's just the beginning. So it was really good to see that. We had some protesters outside, allegedly. I never saw any protesters. I saw it on the news when we left. Like, when we got there was no protesters at all. Not one, not a sign, not nothing. And when we left, there was none outside either. So maybe they were outside, we were inside, but I didn't see anybody at all.
Like people are saying in the chat about Texas.
What about Texas?
Flipping.
I mean, people are kind of afraid about that, but it's going to be a while before that actually happens. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah. But it's not going to happen anytime soon. But there's a danger that within the next 30 to 40 years. Like, think about it. California was a reliably Republican state before, I believe. Did Bush Jr. win California?
I don't know.
No. Yeah, Bush Sr. Until 1988, California was a reliably Republican state.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Well, we'll see about that.
I mean, like, I don't see it happening. Put it this way, I don't see it happening for a very long time, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens either, if you know what I mean.
I mean, anything is possible. Anything is possible, but that's why it's important right now to make sure we're on the same page to push forward this conservative movement, because you're talking about Supreme Court justices, the laws that will be on the books long after, like, let's say Texas were to turn blue. These laws will be on the books long after that were to happen. So we got to be on point right now, rather than
before it's too late.
Do it now. But hey, man, I got a lot of calls on the line.
It was nice catching up with you, ABL.
Oh, always.
I'll see you on next Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday your time, Saturday my time.
Shall see you then.
All righty, take care.
Peace.
All right. There we go. Nipping for the call. Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate him. Let me get to my next call here. All righty. SOBC, what's happening?
ABL, how you doing there today? Am I loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
Oh, great. So I see we're running out of time, so I want to make it quick. So last time during our discussion, I'm going to beat this horse until I don't know. I don't care. I'm going to continue to beat this horse. But after our discussion, you did say something about people usually listen to other people that look like them. Do you mind explaining more on that?
Well, it's easier for somebody to, like, if you're trying to get somebody to listen to what you're saying as far as a political ideology, it's easy for me to go to, like, let's say I'm black, I go to the hood. They could listen to me and hear me more than just a 60-year-old white guy pocket protector. That's just how it is.
Oh, isn't that identity politics?
I mean, nah, it's called outreach, which is a thing that people are wanting. People say, hey, there's nobody ever come talk to us. There's nobody black that ever comes say anything to us. They act like our vote doesn't matter. So the constituents are asking for a thing, and we're delivering. It's outreach. That's all that it is. And the ultimate goal is to get rid of this whole racial stigma to where you can't even talk to somebody that's not your same race. We could all be on the same page as far as the actual policies that we want. Identity politics is when you say, okay, you're black, you must do X, Y, and Z, or you're not going to be part of the group. You're not going to be part of this coalition or whatever it is just because of your skin color. We don't identify with that. Our whole thing is saying, hey, okay, you want to hear more from the conservative movement? You want to hear from Republicans? How are we best going to be able to communicate to you? Okay, I'm black. Let me go over here and talk about this. You know, if you want me to have me on TV, if you have a TV show and they're talking about black issues, what's going to be more credible? A panel full of white guys talking about black issues or black guys? It's simple. You got to be able to get the message across. You got to be able to communicate. That's all it's about. It's not about trying to pigeonhole anybody into a group. That's identity politics. We're trying to communicate effectively.
Well, to me personally, I think that's identity politics. I mean, well, I don't know what black issues is because, you know, I don't think black people are special. They're
out of wedlock birth rate, the highest in the nation, 75%.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
The incarceration rate, the poverty rate, the rate vote for Democratic Party with nothing in return, the everything, just the living in the poverty, the government assistance, the homicide, all of that, HIV/AIDS, all of that is extremely high in the black community, higher than any other group. So obviously, it's a specific issue dealing with black folks. Just like with white people, I think the biggest issue right now is the opioid crisis. You see what I'm saying?
But for me personally, I don't think you need a black person to go talk to black people. You know.
But are you going to be what's going to be more effective is the question. If you could pick between two people to go to the hood and talk to black folks right there, is it going to be me that's more effective or a guy like, I don't know, Rush Limbaugh?
Well, I mean, Rush Limbaugh's not going to talk. I'm
just saying, if
he actually does.
But look,
actually,
but
you know,
see,
great thing you talked about Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh was my first. He was one of the first guys that, you know, fed me that red pill. You know,
me too. But see, the thing about it is,
and he was talking about black issues too.
But see, we are not the same as the average person in the hood, and you know that. So when you go into the hood and talking to these people, who's going to be the most effective? I'm talking about your regular, everyday person that's not really understanding too much about politics at all. They're just trying to work every day, or they live in this, you know, government life or whatever, government assistance. If you had to pick one person to go there and talk to them, to even just get them on the starting path, you're going to put 60-year-old white guy or me. I can identify with them more because they see me. They feel like they can already communicate with me because I can speak their language. Well, I look like them. I talk like them. It's easy.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a 60-year-old white guy. It could be another type of white guy.
I mean,
there are white people that talk to black people. There are black people who follow a certain type of white person.
Well, I mean, like Sean King, because he appears to be black to them. That's the whole point. He looks like T.I. to them. That's why they talk to him.
I mean,
but if
you look at a concert, if you look in the past, right? Look at a DMX concert, you'll see who's in the audience. It's majority white. You see what I'm saying?
But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking to blacks, not whites.
Okay, I know what you're saying, but I'm saying it doesn't have to be a 60-year-old white guy with white hair talking to people in the hood. It could be a certain type of white guy, you know, who could also relate to, you know, Tim Wise talks to people in the hood. He goes to churches in the hood.
Tim Wise don't be
not Tim Wise or something, whatever. I don't know if that's his name, Tim Wise or whatever, something Wise.
Tim Wise don't be going to know. Tim Wise goes to Tim Wise talks to like middle class black folks. I know who Tim Wise is. I've
seen him talk to like all black churches.
I mean, what I'm saying is correct. Like,
okay,
you know, growing up here, I know what it is. Like, I got family that's right there in the hood right now. They're not going to respond. Like, I grew up in it. I know they're not going to respond to people that don't look like them, that can't identify with them and speak their language. It's simple. Even people that are black that are not even from America, they're not going to respond to very well. You got to get them to the point A before they get to the point B.
That's why I call it identity politics.
But
why? Because first of all, they're not even going to respond to you, ABL. They might listen to you, but they're going to call you a coon. They're going to call you, you know, they're going to call you this. They're going to call you that. They're going to call you Uncle Tom. They're going to call you names.
But see, look, I'm not saying I'm going to have a 100% success rate. I'm not saying that. That's not possible. That's not possible for anybody to have, not even Rush. Going to all white community, he's not going to have a 100% success rate. The point is that who's going to have the better chance of being able to communicate? It's simple. They're going to communicate with me better than a white person. It's as simple as that. Now, it shouldn't be like that, but it is, and you got to live in reality. And once you get them to point A to just listen and hear you, then you get them to point B where they're able to listen to anybody and everybody suits the same kind of thing. Then their minds open up and then they just keep progressing. But you got to get them to point A. identity politics is when you say, hey, you're black, you got to stay here, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that, because we say so. You got to identify with these kind of political ideologies just because you're black. We're not into that. We're into being able to communicate effectively. That's all that we're trying to do.
We can agree to disagree on that. Well, you call it outreach, I'll call it identity politics.
So if you're talking about people that Hispanic people, and you're trying to communicate with them, people that came here recently, are you going to get a native Spanish speaker, or are you going to get some old white dude that's a Spanish teacher?
Well, they need to learn English. First thing is they need to learn English, and then I don't need to adapt to them. They came here in my country. They have to learn English.
I understand that. I mean,
right.
You're talking about something. You're talking about just assimilating to society. That's a given. That's aside from the point. I'm making the point about people that are in this particular situation. They don't speak English. They come from a particular part of Central America, like Guatemala or something like that. An easier way to communicate with them would be a Guatemalan person. This is why when you go to the southern border, half of them are Hispanic. That's why you're not gonna have a people like it's just a logical thing to do. You're gonna communicate with them better with Hispanic people that come from these areas. They're better able to understand not only the language but the idiosyncrasies of their particular dialect of their region. It's simple. That's why That's why I am out here doing what I'm doing, and that's why Rob Smith is as well. Because Rob can talk to the gay community and people that are black that are looking for somebody like him to identify with. Once they get that hook in, then you say, okay, here's conservative values for everybody. Then they move on and talk to everybody. You got to get them in that starting point first, and then they move on.
Well, that was a great segue. Speaking about Rob, right? You talked to. I heard you talk to another caller earlier about Milo, and I don't think Milo and Rob are the same kind of people. Milo is on record saying homosexuality is wrong. He's on record saying he was abused, and that's why he turned to homosexuality. So he's on record saying it's not okay to be homosexual.
He also said that it's not really a big deal for a 14-year-old to have sex with an adult because it's a way for them to kind of have guidance. So how you feel about that?
When did he said that?
Yes, he did.
Okay, but that's the thing, right? Milo is a provocateur. That's the thing. He says outrageous things.
The question was, how do you feel about that?
Having sex with a 14-year-old is okay. Of course, it's not okay.
But
it's not okay.
How do you feel about it?
Do you think I don't feel anything about it. I know it's not okay.
Do you think that's worse than what Rob Smith has said?
Well, here's the thing, ABL, you're missing. Milo Yiannopoulos is a provocateur. He says outrageous things. But that's his job to say outrageous things to get attention.
The question is that worse than what Rob Smith has said?
But here you're missing the context, though. You're comparing an apple to an orange. Milo is not out here saying that he's not out here playing this role of a leader and trying to lead conservatives. And Milo is actually not. I've never heard Milo say that he's conservative. I've never heard him say.
Who said Rob was trying to be a leader? Who said Rob
he is? He is. You just put him in that leadership position, saying, "Oh, he's going to speak to gay people. He's going to speak to the gay community. This and that."
Look, people trying to. Milo said, it's not really a bad thing when you're a young man, you want an adult to guide you. He said that, and I made a video at the time condemning him for it. People are defending him. It's crazy. This man has a tour. Hold on. Let me finish. This man had a tour called The Dangerous F Word, a slang term for a gay person. He had that tour. He was being carried around by men and MAGA hats on a crown like he's a queen, put on drag during the tour, talked about gay sex acts with his black husband, all this and that. Now, hold on. Wait. Now, his whole thing, the thing I keep hearing about is, we can't keep promoting degeneracy. These are degenerate people. They're disgusting because of their homosexuality and their gay sex acts. He's not a liar. He's telling the truth. Now, if we're against quote-unquote degeneracy and gay sex acts, how are we going to give Milo a pass? How are we going to give Blair White a pass? How are we going to give Brandon Strzok a pass? How are we going to give Scott Presler a pass? They have not been. Wait. Hold on.
A pass.
Nobody. Hold on. I gotta finish. Nobody has spoken about these people at all. It's been no real backlash. Now all of a sudden, here comes Rob Smith. All of a sudden, he's the worst thing in the world. He's the Antichrist. I'm exaggerating, but you understand what I'm saying. People are focusing their energy on him when the truth is, it's not even about Rob Smith. It's about Charlie Kirk and Turning Point. And one man's hatred.
It's not even about Rob
one man's
Smith.
hatred. One man's hatred about Charlie Kirk and Turning Point has transferred into hatred for Rob Smith as well. It's simple.
This type of way of life within the conservative movement. And you're having a discussion earlier with a caller, right? And you said that the other letters in the LGBTQ are, they do weird things and they make the whole group look bad. Have you heard of Franklin Kameni?
No.
Dr. Franklin Kameni. He died in 2011. He was one of the first gay rights activists. This guy was like super gay back in the 1950s. And he was honored by Barack Obama in the White House, right? In I think 2009 or 2011, right before he passed away. And this guy, you know what this guy said?
What did he say?
He said, here's what he said. He said, let us have more and better enjoyment of more and more better sexual perversions by whatever definition, and by more and more consenting adults. If bestiality with consenting animals provides happiness to some people, let them pursue their happiness. That is Americanism in action. This is a man who was fighting for gay rights, and he added in bestiality in his whole message of gay rights. And this man was honored by Barack Obama in the White House.
Okay, so how does it relate to Rob Smith?
Okay, but here's my point. When we start accepting this types of things in the conservative movement, we're going to end up accepting other things. And let me ask you a question, ABL. Will you be okay with a trans person having some type of role in this whole conservative political movement on the right?
That's a good question. It depends. I'm gonna be honest. If the person, like, if you had pick between one person that's a trans person that could do a better job at the thing, I wouldn't be mad at it. Now,
so you'll be okay. So you'll definitely be okay with a trans person having some type of role in the conservative right movement.
Well, like I said, it depends. Now, personally, do I think that people that are transgender are correct? No. But if they can get the job done, I mean, I don't see what the problem is.
Okay, so as long as they can get the job done, you're fine with it?
Pretty much.
Okay. And also, do you agree that we're currently in a culture war?
Now, when you say we talking about like on the internet?
On the right, I mean this whole political. I mean, just actually the whole. This whole political movement, like right, left,
The culture war only exists online. This is not a real thing.
Oh, it's not a real thing. So they're not promoting homosexuality in the elementary schools. They're not promoting homosexuality.
I mean, if you're talking about that, that's something different. Like,
okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely happening in a lot of these liberal areas where they promote that kind of stuff to happen.
It's not just the liberal areas. It's sipping in. Look at Texas. Look at Houston, Texas. They're having trans story time in Houston, Texas.
Liberal city.
Okay, but I'm saying it's sipping in places that used to be red, and now they're
the problem is that the city is liberal. That's the overall point.
Okay, but I'm telling you, it's gonna sip in not just those cities. It's gonna spread everywhere.
Well,
and take over.
I mean, I don't think conservatives would be okay with their children going to see drag queens. I've not seen any evidence of that. It's the left that does that.
It's not just going to those drag. It's not about the drag. It's about about the schools. They're teaching it in schools now. It's compulsory in schools.
But see,
in the libraries, there are plenty of homosexual books in the libraries. Yesterday.
So what? Hold on, because we kind of getting long on time. What school that's like in the conservative area does that? Have you seen anything? It's always in a liberal place. Period.
It doesn't have to be in a conservative area.
But like the question was, have you seen it in the conservative area?
Yes, I've seen it in a conservative area.
Where?
In the area I live in. Yes, in the area I live in.
You live in Northern Virginia, don't you?
No, I live in the DMV area.
That's not a liberal area. I mean, that's not a conservative area. Period.
Well, the county I live in is close to conservative.
That whole area is. Come on, like I'm from Virginia.
The county I live in the county library, there are plenty of homosexual books in the county library.
I'm from Virginia. I know that area very well. That area is not conservative.
Oh no! I'm saying the county I live in is.
Not conservative.
Is close to conservative.
Northern Virginia is like San Francisco.
I don't live in Northern Virginia.
Same thing. DMV, the area. I know what it is. I'm from Virginia. I've been there many times. I know what time it is. That's not a conservative area.
Okay.
But hey, I mean, it's been a great conversation. It's been great, but I got to go ahead and wrap it up.
Okay. Just one thing. Actually, you know what? I'll save it for the next goal. I'll save it for the next goal. It's been a great discussion, ABL.
Oh, definitely, man. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, take care.
All right. Shout out to my man SOBC. Alrighty. A conservative area is a place that has conservative people in leadership, conservative people that live there. How is that really that hard to understand, Lucas? I know you didn't know that. Catholicism was a branch of Christianity. I know you're gonna say I know you didn't know that, but come on, you don't know what a conservative area is. Like, I live in a conservative area because you have conservative people in leadership. People that live here are conservative. It's pretty clear to see where you have a conservative area at. But nah, check it out though. The issue with this whole gay thing is because of one man's obsession with Charlie Kirk. Nobody say anything about Blair White running around talking about, yeah, I'm trans, this, that, and the third. No issue with that. Brandon Strout, Walkaway movement. He is an actual leader, leading a movement of people that have left the left and have come to the right. Where was the criticism against him because he's gay and says it openly? Where was that criticism at? Scott Presler, the guy that does the cleanups in Baltimore and LA, leads a movement. Where is the hate towards him? All of a sudden, here comes Rob Smith. He's with Turning Point USA. The big bad TP USA. Now it's a problem. Now all of a sudden it's an issue. We want to talk about it. Come on, this is silly. And the truth is that this conversation does not really leave the internet. This is an internet issue. People, we watch these videos, we see them, we understand what's going on, but the average person outside don't really care about that. They just care about things that make common sense. It's simple. It don't matter who's sponsored by who. You're worried about TPUSA because you got a problem with people that work at TPUSA. Just like many others, they got a problem with Charlie, you got a problem with somebody else. Who cares what organization is behind them? Brandon Strout has his own organization called Walk Away. That's an actual organization that gets money, they get sponsorship, they get funding, the same as Turning Point. So why is it focused on Turning Point and not Walk Away? Walk Away is led by an actual gay male. Rob works with Turning Point. He ain't the founder of it or the leader of it. So why not have that same energy towards Walk Away? It's because your hatred for Turning Point USA. It's simple. These are not complex things to even understand. Yeah, I mean, it's silly. All right, I'm gonna take a couple more calls, and then I'm gonna go ahead and bounce. Hey, Coach Alpha Elite, you call in. We can have a conversation. Let's talk. And then, because I'm in the mood right now. Because I want this whole thing to just die out and be done. Let me see. And the funny part about his group, the Groypers, whatever they call, all they're doing is just making him become more popular. They're not helping themselves. They're making him become more popular. Yeah, Darcy August says, people always seem to attack the black gay guy, especially other blacks. Yeah, I see that a lot. I think it's less of a race issue and more of a Turning Point. People are really mad at Turning Point because they're the big dog. And when the big dog, is high up there and they can't really be touched, people on the bottom just want to throw stones. They don't want to talk to people that are right there in an eye-to-eye level. They want to talk to those that are kind of like too lofty to be able to reach. You know, that's what that is. 312 on line. How am I speaking to?
They didn't want to talk to people that. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about opportunity zones. Those that are kind of like.
All right, turn your speakers down in the background for me, please. Turn your speakers down in the background for me, please.
Yeah.
Okay, because we got a short amount of time, so shoot.
Okay, man. Okay, man. Yeah. Hey, I'm just curious. I've heard a lot about these opportunity zones, and I'm just kind of wondering, you know, what areas are they in? Are they in poor areas for black and white people, or just in black areas? And when do you expect to start seeing these bear some fruit?
Well, I don't know where all of the areas are because they're all over the country. I don't have a map in front of me, but I was at the event last night. What was that event? That was a Black Voices for Trump, and people got on stage, black folks that were talking about how these zones have helped them, how the policies have helped them in their business in a tangible way. So aside from what I've heard from people that have spoken out positively for it, that's all I have as far as proof that it's working, it's making a difference. But as far as where they are, I don't have a map in front of me, so I can't answer that one.
Well, and as far as like I know it's helping people, and I'm glad to hear money starting to get poured in for those. But are people in the community understanding where that's coming from and things of that nature? Is it starting to maybe change some minds about, you know, Donald Trump being a racist, which, you know, the guy is clearly not a racist based on all the statistics that are coming in, and everybody loved him. I believe lots of rappers rapped about him being Trump and stuff like that. Not a big rap guy myself, but I just am hoping that people will start to see what he's doing for these communities that actually live in these communities. Is there any evidence of that starting to be shown yet?
Well, I think people are starting to wake up. When I went to the event last night, I mean, it was crowded. We were at capacity. People were outside that couldn't get in, and that was an invite-only event last minute. We did that event, the Black Voices for Trump, at the Georgia Convention Center. I forget the exact name of it, but it was a convention center downtown Atlanta. The room only held 400, but at least 400 more couldn't get in. We did it like within a 2 to 3 day notice, invite only. So you couldn't just come to the event. You had to get a ticket. You had to get invited by the RNC. So, I mean, people are waking up. They really are. But the biggest thing, the hurdle that we're having is that people are kind of afraid to come out because they don't want people to judge them, and they want to be seen as still cool, and they don't want to lose their family. But less of that stigma is there, and people are starting to kind of come around. I think we'll see a big increase in the black support for Trump in 2020.
God, I hope so. You guys are doing a great thing, and I'm hoping that you're going to tell me that the people that were in the room with you were people like yourself that are out spreading the message and getting the word out, so that you know, these people in these neighborhoods. I mean, I used to be a realtor and I take investors out on the south side of Chicago, the west side of Chicago. Those are just absolutely, you know, brutal neighborhoods. But the one thing that you notice about those neighborhoods when you go into them is 90% of the people in there are great people, and there's 10% that ruin it for everybody else. Maybe not even 10%. But you know, I'm just hoping that these people understand what's happening and they let it happen and they embrace it, so that they can, you know, have the life they truly deserve and get the good schools. Because I really truly believe the schools in those neighborhoods are kept like that for a reason.
Right.
And it breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. So just pray every night that, you know, the African American community is going to understand what he's doing, and I hope it starts to bear fruit before the 2020 election and the word gets out, so that ultimately, you know, he has 4 more years to really show how he's going to help them, and you know, and then hopefully the black America will start to come back to the Republican Party, because like Trump said back in the day, what the hell do you have to lose?
Yeah, that's right, 100% correct, man. I thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you too, ABL. You do a great job, man.
All right, thank you, man.
Thanks, brother. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. All right, I'm gonna try to get to a couple more calls here, and then I got to wrap it up. Put a bow on the top. All right. Let me see. I think the guy, what's the statement name? Coach Alpha. If you ain't here, boss man, go ahead and call up. I know Lucas ain't trying to call up because he don't want that. He don't want that work. So yeah, I got one more. Yeah, the dude Nick is just alt right, and a lot of people that follow him. Some people are kind of like some people actually believe in the morality and stuff like that. They believe in it. A lot of others are just kind of like lost, disaffected, don't really know which way to turn. Young men that don't really know, where they want to be at yet, or people that kind of want to be edgy, kind of want to be trolly. And then you have some that just, I don't know, just kind of blind followers. It is what it is. Popular guy, he could speak very well, charismatic. I'll give him that. But the problem is that his stuff is just all about hatred for one person, and that can be toxic. All right. Matter of fact, I got to go ahead and roll it up. I got to bounce. Sorry for anybody that's on the line, but I got to go. Thank y'all for joining. Definitely appreciate you. I promise. I think the issue with the whole turning point, I think that'll be done by next week. As long as nobody do no shows or nothing like that, I think we'd be good. Shout out to Lucas. Shout out to everybody in here. I thank y'all for joining. I definitely appreciate you. Oh, come on, Lucas. I ain't trying to hear no excuses. You don't want to do that. You've been in here for 3 hours. You could have called in the whole time. You didn't want to do it. But thank you for the entertainment. And shout out to everybody. I don't care what you are. You could be gay, straight, whatever. That's your business, not mine. I'm trying to get this wall built up. I'm trying to get this economics rolling. I'm trying to get these Supreme Court justices in office. I don't want the left to take over because of internet infighting that does not even exist off of the platform. But that's all I got. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. Shout out to the moderators. You guys do a great job getting them trolls in line. Zealand's in, Misha, A, Ansel, Elijah Jean, Bill from the Hills, Shreebs, everybody. I thank y'all for what y'all do the time. Definitely appreciate you. I'll be back. When am I coming back? Wednesday with a live show. Tomorrow I will be in Blexit, Atlanta, talking to a lot more black folks about, getting everything together and, just solidifying ourselves as conservatives. And we're going to try to get more conservatives to do as us in the black community and just be who they are. You're conservative already socially, be that way politically. And if you're not that way socially yet, hopefully we'll be able to talk to you and plant a seed here and there that'll be able to help you grow and build into your new life. But that's all I got. Again, tomorrow, Blexit, Atlanta. I think it's going to be at 4:00 at the Buckhead Theater. And that's in Atlanta, Buckhead. Anyway, that's all I got. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace. Atlanta, I think it's going to be